Hey guys, welcome into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We got a lot of stuff going on. Let's get right into it. We're taking a live look at some things that are going on all across the country. As you can see, we're taking a look at the Supreme Court because there are quite a few decisions that have been handed down. Some of them go against what President Donald Trump has wanted for the country. Some of them go ahead and align with his policies. So we'll be touching base on what those specific decisions were today and how some of the most recent ones affect all of us here in the U.S. You're also, if you took a live look in the really corner, there is a live vigil happening as we speak. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Wilmington Hospital, also known as Christiana Care, had been shot up. They say that a former intern entered the building, opened fire, and killed one of his colleagues, injured another one. And then, of course, all the other people, all the other employees, patients who were inside of the hospital when this happened have for sure taken on some sort of trauma. So again, they're having a vigil. Everybody has come together. We'll be touching base with one of our reporters who is live out there on the grounds, and maybe we'll even be able to give you a live look inside, let you listen in to some of the stuff that they're talking about in there. But let me give you a warning. It's a very solemn event. And then right underneath me, we're taking a look at some video. Our Skyfox flew over a train derailment in Bensalem. We'll be talking about what happened there, the latest information that we have, because for quite a period of time, a certain period of time, we knew that the residents there were under a lockdown, or at least they shouldn't go outside because they were concerned that there may be hazardous waste that had been spilled. So we'll touch base on what those residents can do now to make sure that they are safe as the day continues. My name is Judea Murray. If this is your first time joining me on Philadelphia Live, I go over breaking news, live news. If it's happening, if it's relevant, we bring it to you. And the best part about this program is it is an interactive one. So if you've got a question for a reporter, for me, if you've got comment, if maybe you're looking at a story that I haven't mentioned just yet here on the stream, all you got to do is hit me up in one of our live stream channels. We are on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're also on the Free Fox Local app, and of course a couple of other streaming platforms as well. If you've got a TV and you don't have cable, you can still watch us there as well. So hey everybody, wherever you are, just real quick. Wow, okay, wait, we've got a Troy Murray in our TikTok chat. Hey cousin, I don't know this person, but maybe we are related in some way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for joining us. Then we've got somebody who literally just has the goat emoji who says first, so they were our first comment on the live stream. We appreciate having you all in here too. Again, let me know what you want to hear about. Let me know what stories you're interested in. And if you have a question for one of our reporters, because I am able to ask them in real time, in a way, you are kind of influencing what we talk about here on the news. So yeah, it's not your typical average newscast. It's a little different over here. A lot of big things happening. We'll get into some of the more serious things in a second, but I also just saw that that France-Sweden match, the FIFA World Cup match, has come to an end. France is on top, and I want to talk about this with our sports team, so we'll dive deeper into it in a second. But Mbappe, who's arguably one of the best soccer players in the world right now, I don't know if he actually made history, but I know coming into this match, he was very, very close. We're talking about the scoring record for the FIFA World Cup, for any FIFA World Cup. He may have taken it over. So again, we'll be touching base with our sports team just to see if he actually did do it. I know if you're a fan, this had to be an incredible moment to witness in person. Now let's move on to some things that are happening a lot closer to home, some things that are definitely more serious in nature. Again, I told you about that vigil that's happening because a couple of weeks ago, there was a horrible shooting at Wilmington Hospital. It's also known as Christiana Care. We're talking about Wilmington, Delaware, by the way. So the person that you're looking at on your screen, the larger box there, is the suspect in this case. He's been named as John Wallace Bay, 23 years old. They say he entered that hospital where he was an intern at after some sort of disagreement or kerfuffle with his colleagues. They say that he was told to go home and they expected him to come back the next day, but instead he came back a little later that afternoon with a firearm. They say he opened fire, killing one of his 19-year-old colleagues and injuring another one, putting everybody at the hospital, according to officials, at risk, and especially traumatizing some of his other co-workers and the patients as well. So now weeks later, we know that a lot of people have gotten together for a vigil. They're trying to just make sense of everything that happened, also honor the life of one of the 19-year-olds who was killed during all of this. They've been speaking for quite some time now. Our Shawnette Wilson gave me a look at the schedule. So just in case you guys are just now coming in, this right here that you're taking a live look at, we'll listen to it in a second, is a program, a Wilmington Healing Vigil. It started at 6 o'clock. It's going to go until 8:30. They had opening remarks. They are having reflections, a moment of silence. They say through the reflections, moments of silence, and readings, we honor those affected and support healing and affirm our shared commitment to a safer community. I want to let you listen in now just to see where they're at in the program.
Weapons out of dangerous hands at dangerous times. It's not just one or the other or the third, it's all three. And hope alone cannot get us there. We need to have hope, but hope alone is not enough. Where'd it go? Hope alone is not a strategy. I got into this work as a volunteer. I am the daughter of a nurse, and I'm a mom. And it is that confluence that brings me here tonight, because we all deserve to live and learn and play and pray and work with freedom. And so I'm honored to invite you to join me in a moment of silence to quietly honor the communities impacted by violence. We hold in mind families, neighbors, coworkers, children, elders, and those whose lives have been changed by violence. We remember the grief that is visible and the grief that is carried quietly, and we acknowledge the fear, anger, exhaustion, and sorrow that violence leaves behind. Please join me in silence. Thank you.
All right, you guys, they've just finished one of their moments of silence. Again, this is going to continue until 8 o'clock. They've got a full program ahead of them, plenty of reflections, and one of our reporters, along with a photographer, is inside. As you see, they've given us this live image that you're taking a look at. They'll be giving us a live report when this all concludes, so we'll get an update on everything that's going on in there. That'll be our Shawnette Wilson joining us a little later on. Now, some big news. If you were planning on spending your 4th of July in the city of Philadelphia, or really anywhere on the East Coast, it's hot. Like news to no one, it is crazily hot. We actually have just gotten a heat health emergency issued for our area. They put out this statement giving us more context into what this heat health emergency really means. So let's dive into it. The health department issued this, and what they're saying is going to change a couple of the scheduled events that are supposed to be taking place may either be canceled, they may be postponed, they may be delayed. So this heat health emergency starts July 1st at 11 a.m. It's set to end on July 4th at 8 p.m. So any visitor who's here is probably already experiencing this triple digit hot weather. It's kind of insane. There are plenty of cooling centers open just in case you are someone who maybe doesn't have access to AC or central air at home. Also, if you are someone experiencing homelessness and you just need a place to try to keep cool, again, those cooling centers are open and available for you. We've got more information on our website. Last but not least, again, expect some changes to be made to any of the events that you thought that you were going to go to. That includes the 250th semi-quincentennial. It's a long word, and I hope I got it right. We know that there are going to be some changes made to that parade. Also, if you're going to go to the Wow Wow Welcome America event, we're hearing that there are going to be some changes to that as well. And I'll go over those time period changes for you guys, so keep that in mind. That's still coming up. In the meantime, though, I want to touch base with our meteorologists. They have been keeping an eye on everything that's happening. They let us know well in advance that this was on the way. Scott Williams, hey, talk to us a little bit more about what we can expect.
Yeah, I mean, it is really going to be brutal, Judea, over the next several days as that heat and humidity starts to build. It's that cumulative effect that begins to take a toll on our body's temperatures. Yesterday made it to 90, 91 degrees today. And then as we move towards your Wednesday, we're looking at mid to upper 90s. And then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, temperatures will be topping out above the triple digits. So we're looking at a historic heat event. That heat dome is expanding across the country. I mean, it is a width of over 1,000 miles. So we have company when it comes to this extreme heat over the next several days. Temperatures maxed out at 91 today officially for Philadelphia. It was 90 in Wilmington, 92 for Reading. Temperatures even at the airport in Atlantic City maxed out at 91 degrees. Allentown, a high today of 90 degrees. So it really is just getting started. So you know how they say you ain't seen nothing yet? Well, yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet, because temperatures are going to be maxing out above 100 degrees throughout this event. Now, 89 degrees currently for Philadelphia. A little bit of a breeze, and yes, the humidity. It's still comfortable, all things considered, because those dew points are in the 50s to low 60s. By the end of the week, those dew points will be climbing into the upper 70s, upper 60s to low 70s. So that is really going to be that air that you can wear. Temperatures currently for most inland areas still in the mid to upper 80s, but some relief that will be felt down the shore over the next couple of days because of that sea breeze. So if you're right along the immediate shore points by the water, you will see some relief. But you move inland, we're talking just to the boardwalk, just into some of the inland areas, and it is going to be stifling even there. So a lot of us will be dealing with this heat and humidity. Those temperatures for the overnight will be dipping into the low to mid 70s. That's above our average low for this time of year. Upper 60s for Philadelphia will be at 75 degrees. But just to put things in perspective, we have some nights over the next several days upcoming where we won't even get below 80 degrees for the low temperature. So take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Those temperatures upper 70s at 7 o'clock. Already low 90s tomorrow by 1 in the afternoon, mid to upper 90s for high temperatures tomorrow, and then the record territory begins. I mean, take a look at this forecast for Thursday. 104 degrees, the record's 103. Temperatures for Friday will be flirting with the all-time record high temperature ever recorded for Philadelphia, which is 106 degrees. We're forecasting 105. Yes, 105 degrees. We looked at these numbers last week, and I know folks' jaws were dropping, but we are building that heat over the next several days. So this could be historic on several levels. Now, the last time we had back-to-back 100-degree days, that was July of 2011. And then we're talking about the potential for 3 days above 90 degrees, above 100 degrees, I should say, in the upcoming days. The most consecutive 100-degree days, that was July 8th through the 10th of 1993. So the last time we had those 3 consecutive days was 1993. And then as we look at the all-time record, that's 106 degrees from August 7th of 1918. So that's on the table in the coming days for the all-time record, the all-time hottest it's ever been for Philadelphia. So we talk about taking those precautionary measures, checking on elderly, pets, children, making sure everyone is safe. I want to go over the differences between heat exhaustion and heat stroke, because you want to pay attention to your body, of course. Looking at heat exhaustion, you'll experience a faint or dizziness, and then with a heat stroke symptom, you'll be having a throbbing headache, so almost like a migraine. Now take a look at the dangers with the heat exhaustion. You'll have excessive sweating. So that's when you're sweating profusely, you're losing a lot of your fluids, your electrolytes. That's why we say drink plenty of water, stay hydrated. Symptoms of a heat stroke, you just stop sweating altogether. So that means your body is not even responding to the mechanism to produce any sweating. So you've become, just so dehydrated, and you're entering in that heat stroke. Now, heat exhaustion has symptoms of having cool, pale, or clammy skin. With the heat stroke, you have a red, hot to dry skin. And then as we move ahead to some of the other symptoms, you'll have a weak pulse with heat exhaustion. So your heart rate is slowing down with the pulse rate. And then heat stroke, you'll have a strong, very, very rapid pulse. So, I mean, we're talking about that potential being on the table. You talked about some of those events, kind of fine tuning their itineraries because of that heat danger and that heat concern in the coming days. So we always want to say, listen to your body, drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, stay in air conditioning places as well, those cooling centers that will be open. Now, here's the forecast for the shore points over the next several days. Still warm down the shore for Wednesday into Thursday, but then that heat starts to crank up there as well. By Friday, we're looking at 90-degree temperatures even for the shore points. And take a look at this forecast over the next several days. I mean, it is just unreal to see that many 100-degree days on this 7-day forecast. Temperatures for Thursday, 104 degrees, moving toward Friday, 105. Once again, the all-time hottest that it's ever been for Philadelphia since the records have been kept is 106 degrees. So that is certainly a possibility as we see the evolution of this heat dome and that building humidity over the next several days. These temperatures could go up a degree or two, and then temperatures for the 4th of July will likely still be around 100 degrees. Thunderstorm chances will be in the forecast for the 4th of July as well. So we're going to be monitoring that, of course, for the last FIFA game at the Philadelphia Stadium on Saturday. We have fireworks displays taking place, so we could be dodging some thunderstorms as we get toward the upcoming holiday weekend. And then by next week, those temperatures going back into the mid to upper 80s. So look at this forecast over the next several days. Those temperatures are just stifling. I mean, we're looking at those the heat alerts. We have the extreme heat warning that kicks in Wednesday through Saturday for feels like temperatures between 105 and 110 degrees. So it really is going to be that cumulative effect over the next several days, and then we do go back to where we should be for this time of year as we move toward next week, of course, after the holiday, after all the celebrations. And you know, we're really just going to have to take it easy over the next several days. I know you probably have your water bottle handy, Judea, because you always have.
I do.
There you go.
A full
you
one
always
too.
have your water bottle, so you've started to you know, hydrate, and that's certainly some tips out there. You don't want to wait until we hit 105 degrees to start drinking you know, a lot of water. You want to start now as we build up to this stifling heat and humidity that we have across the area.
Yeah, when you were doing your forecast, it was like really popping in the chat. Someone on TikTok said, everybody stay hydrated, please. And you just so happen to bring up the water again. Brenda said she looked at your 104, 105, and just put the fainting emoji. And I understand I feel the same exact way.
I mean, it's incredible to even just talk about it because, I mean, just to have those 3 days with 100 degrees in the forecast, it's very rare.
I mean, you see how hot it is when we look at that 10-day that you had, and the fact that we're looking at 87 degrees, like, oh my gosh, what a relief. And it's 87 degrees, lets you know how hot it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's still close to 90 degrees. So, yeah, I mean, the earlier heat waves, our hottest was 98 degrees, and we had 2 consecutive days where we had record high temperatures in the upper 90s. So we're looking at the hottest day of the year coming up. And once again, we could be flirting with the all-time hottest for Philadelphia.
And the fact that each time before we have broken the records, like it's like we were flirting with it and then we broke it. I don't know what's going to happen in the weather. I'm not a trained meteorologist, but I'm not confident that we're going to stay below it. Let me ask you one question though, Scott. I know that we're still some days out, so maybe you're not sure, but how likely do you think it really is that this thunder, lightning could actually take over like later on during the night and potentially impact your 4th of July plans and fireworks plans? Yeah,
well, I mean, the rainfall chance for the 4th of July is about a 50%. Okay. And as we have this humidity building over the next several days. That will kind of set the stage, unfortunately, for some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we move toward the end of this heat wave. As we get toward the holiday weekend, things will start to break down in terms of that heat dome. So we will start to see some of those scattered shower and thunderstorm chances introduced into the forecast, especially on Saturday. I mean, we could have a rogue pop-up thunderstorm any day over the next several days, but the chances start to go up to around 50% as we get toward your Saturday. Sunday, 50-60% chance as well, and then we keep some chances going into early next week. But when you get all of that humidity, those dew points are climbing. All we need is a little bit of a trigger in the atmosphere, and that is going to be with that ridge breaking down. A little disturbance will kind of help provide lift in the atmosphere, so that will give us a better chance for some storms. Unfortunately, as we move toward Saturday evening, when everyone's looking at fireworks displays, so we're going to be monitoring that forecast over the next several days. But right now, it's about a 50-50 chance that we could have some storms on the 4th of July in the evening when celebrations are taking place.
Okay, you guys, so manage your expectations, but that doesn't mean necessarily throw everything away. It's at 50-50,
Yeah.
so we'll keep our eyes on everything that you guys have going on in the Storm Team Sensor. Scott, thank you so much for giving us a look at what's still to come ahead. And in our live stream chat, you guys honestly scare me. Tavio said, I will be outside all day. Is your skin made of vibranium? Like, are you not going to feel this 104, 105, 103, 99? That's not going to phase you. All power to you. Scott mentioned what may or may not happen with the FIFA World Cup matches that we have going on July 4th, and that brings us into sports. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to touch base with Breland Moore from our sports team. There's so much going on. FIFA World Cup, Phillies, Flyers, like the list goes on and on. We'll pick her brain when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray, and I want to get right out to Breland Moore from our sports team. Breland, a little bit before the show started, we heard that the match ended between France and Sweden, but we haven't gotten into exactly what took place there. Can you walk us through what you guys got to see?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was a blowout. France is the favorite to win this entire thing, and so it's no surprise how this one went. It was a 3-0 result. So that means, which is really cool, that France will be taking on Paraguay here on July 4th at the Artist, formerly known as Lincoln Financial Field, now known as Philadelphia Stadium. So that's going to be a really interesting match, and hopefully that'll be a heavy hitter for the crowd here. I know that we had those group stage games that were all laid out, so hopefully people aren't too disappointed now that they get potentially the tournament winner, the favorites to win the entire thing here for the knockout round as a little extra treat here.
Yeah, that would be an extra treat. We're all excited to see what can happen. I know one thing going into this match, a lot of people were looking at Mbappe because it was possible that he could break another like FIFA World Cup record in terms of scoring. Do you know if he got to do that?
Gonna be honest, Judea, I was doing the 6 o'clock news, so
okay.
yeah.
I forget that you were literally everywhere.
I have 1,000 things going on at the moment, so I wasn't fully prepared to go completely in depth on this. So apologies
Nope,
on that.
you're good.
But I do know that he did score at least one series. I believe he scored that third goal. So that's that. Sorry about that, but yeah, I was actively doing the news. So.
Understood. And like I said, I forget that you were literally like wearing so many hats, and for every show that's here, like between you, Scott, and Marcus, like you guys are our sport authority.
Yeah.
So
we were pretty into, we actually, I mean, I'll full disclosure since this is like behind the news type of thing. We were reading about the All-Star game, which is, you thought you were just done with the FIFA business. Well, guess what? You got multiple days of Major League Baseball's All-Star game coming here between the 11th and the 14th and 15th. So that's also a multi-day event that we are gearing up for here in Philadelphia. But before we get there, of course, like I said, July 4th, France, Paraguay at Philadelphia Stadium. That will be the final game that we host here as a host city. And that is that round of 16 game for both of them. So that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we see a lot of, Marquis de Lafayette costumes because it is the 4th of July, France was an ally. So maybe people will get a little creative with that and have some fun.
we got to spot them out. I'm hoping that people send us pictures, videos. I know our social media team has been going like absolutely bananas for each one of these matches because there are so many people out and about. So like, why not post them?
Yeah.
Breland, I know you just said you were on the 6. Did you get a chance to at least see the Phillies game get started?
Well, the Phillies didn't start till 6:40, so I was offset by then.
Okay.
So yeah, they are up at last check that I saw. I've been standing out here for like about 8 minutes or so, but it was 2-0.
Still is.
Okay, cool. So Justin Crawford with that RBI single. Christopher Sanchez is on the mound, and he's always so solid. If he does not, we will know this in just a little bit here, but if he does not get the starting pitcher honors for the All-Star game, I would be very, very surprised, as would probably everybody else in our sports department. So, yeah, definitely someone to keep an eye on there. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see how it goes. A lot of game left. Obviously, it's only the 4th, so anything can happen. But with Sanchez on the mound, I tend to trust this team. He is just so solid when it comes to his performances as of late this season. So, which is really awesome to see.
Got you. I know you're like all over all things sports, but are you a basketball fan in particular?
Yeah. Are we going to talk about LeBron? I don't care. I'm going to be honest. I don't care.
Really?
He's 41 years old. He's not coming to the Sixers. So you do you, boo. I don't particularly like athletes that team hop. I understand it. I get it. But when
you like the loyalty.
Yeah, I do like the loyalty. I understand to a degree why a guy like Tom Brady did it, because there was a narrative that he couldn't win a championship without Bill Belichick, and he said, watch this. And so he had to go somewhere. But I love when a guy can play for one team. Sidney Crosby is a guy that comes to mind. One team only, and is arguably the greatest of the generation, perhaps the greatest of all time. I don't particularly care for the team hopping. I think it's lame. But the even more lame thing is that he made sure his son got stuck in Los Angeles, and then he's rolling. So that was extra interesting. A little child left behind action there, but whatever you want to do. But yeah, I don't like the back and forth on different teams. And like I said, there's no shot he comes to the Sixers, so it doesn't really affect me, and it's kind of lame.
I had to laugh because bringing up the child that was left behind, that was actually one of the trending topics. Like, what's going to happen to Bronny now? Because a lot of people feel like, no tea, no shade, that the only reason he was with the Lakers in the first place.
I mean,
was 'cause of
he
his dad.
just locked up his contract. That was guaranteed. So I guess he made sure that was taken care of, and now he's dipping. So yeah, Bronny is with the Lakers for a hot minute now, as LeBron departs to wherever he decides to ring chase or whatever he's doing now. I don't. It's annoying.
Maybe this means Bronny gets the chance to make a name for himself. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But again, I love picking your brain because you keep it real, and that's all I can ask
I
for.
mean, I don't have it in me to sugarcoat it. It just is what it is.
Hey, let me let you get back to everything that's going on,
Yeah.
especially the Phillies. I want to talk to the people about Serena Williams and a couple of other things that are going on.
Disappointing.
Yeah, you think so? Wait, but did I miss something?
Well, I mean, she lost, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the update. I just knew that she was playing in Wimbledon, and a lot of people were excited to see her.
Yeah, so she lost to a 20-year-old Australian named Maya Joint in 3 sets. And look, it definitely puts a damper on things. However, credit to Joint, right? She is 20 years old. She was quoted afterwards saying, I'm going to, it's not verbatim, but basically she was like, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning sweating about this. My legs were not moving as fast as they typically were. I kind of felt a little off during warm-ups. It's amazing that I was able to get off to such a great start this match because it just, it's really intimidating. Serena has an aura. She's one of the greatest of all times. And for a girl, she's 20 years old. I mean, that's a sophomore in college, basically. To be able to defeat one of the greatest athletes of all time, that's a very, very large deal. And especially Joint only won 2 of her last 15 matches, this being the second one. So, I mean, she was very much on a skid, and to have something like that occur, my goodness, that's going to be a lifetime memory, even though, obviously Serena is no longer in her prime. I think we can all agree and say that about her. But yeah, all the credit to Maya Joint. That I'm sure she's going to have quite a story to tell all of her girlfriends after this one, because my goodness, it's not every day you as a 20-year-old get to take down one of the greatest athletes ever, especially in that sport. So.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how other fans too are going to see this. The thing that comes to mind for me, it was like one of the Paul brothers, Logan, I think.
Oh boy.
Jake, yeah, I know.
You bringing up people, speaking of people I don't care about.
All I'm trying to say though is that like when he won his match, like a lot of people weren't impressed because they were saying, well, like to be fair, he wasn't in his prime when he fought you. So like, do we really count this? Do you think people are really going to count this win for her against Serena?
Yes, I do, because she's not a horrendous person. Like, the Paul brothers have a reputation for being the worst.
You said there's some extra
Everybody
context
knows
here,
this. Like, they have a reputation for being the worst. And so, yeah, of course, people are not going to be happy for them when they do things. This is a 20-year-old girl with no reputation online. I think she's okay. And, the crowd, it has to be a really intimidating environment when you're young, and the entire crowd is against you because they want to see Serena Williams do well, which arguably, nobody can fault anyone at Wimbledon for wanting that. But yeah, as far as I know, she seems to be a very normal individual that doesn't have any sort of digital track record of any sort of controversy. So I think she's going to be just fine.
Yeah, the internet sleuths would have found it by now if there was something out there.
Right.
Again, thank you for a commentary. I'm glad that you stuck around for that part because, just wanted to go there, see how you respond. I appreciate you weighing in on what's going on. Let's take one last look, if we can, at the Phillies score. You guys, I just want to make sure, okay, they are still 2-0 at the top of the 4th, as Breland set us up for. We'll keep our eyes on what's happening out there for you all, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, just a quick little note, we can take a live look at Philadelphia Stadium. Beautiful. You guys see it right there in all its glory. FIFA World Cup matches are taking place here right now, and for the time being, but in the next 75 days, the Philadelphia Eagles will be back at it. They'll have their first game. They'll be back at home eventually. So again, football season is upon us. We don't have that much time to waste to get to it. So guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the Supreme Court, some of the biggest decisions that have been handed down and how they affect us here, everyday Americans. Be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You guys are taking a live look at the White House because quite a few decisions made by our Supreme Court justices today and for the last couple of days have challenged some of President Donald Trump's policies, what he wants for the U.S. moving forward. So let's get right into it. The first one is birthright citizenship. We heard that today the Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 split vote that Trump versus Barbara case, they want it to continue. So essentially, they would guarantee automatic birthright citizenship. And if you guys are like, well, what exactly is that? That means anybody who is born right here on U.S. soil is automatically granted citizenship. You are automatically an American, a U.S. citizen. And this coincides with the 14th Amendment that says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, of course, this ruling struck down President Donald Trump's executive order, which tried to restrict citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants and temporary residents. So that was a big one that came down. Now, when the House Speaker Mike Johnson was speaking to the press and answering questions, a reporter brought up this decision. He actually hadn't heard that the decision was made in the Supreme Court just yet. So you're going to get his live reaction right before he learned that it was actually passed and then right after.
Mr. Speaker.
So birthright citizenship, which as I speak has not come down yet, but it helped hundreds of thousands of formerly enslaved people in Louisiana. Now, do you as a constitutional lawyer and representative to the descendants of some of those people who were enslaved agree with the president that it should be done away with?
What was I missed the first part of the question.
It helped hundreds of thousands.
No, what was
it has not come down yet, but do you agree with the president that it should be done away with?
What hasn't come down?
Birthright citizenship. The last case has not come down yet, but do you agree?
Birthright citizenship. Yeah, okay, look, yes, as a constitutional lawyer, I got lots of opinions on this. Okay, understand what the framers did, and when we added this to our constitutional order, understood what the intent was. I think anybody who looks at this. Oh dear.
The decision is children born in the United States, parents unlawfully or temporarily present are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. What's your reaction to that, Mr. Speaker?
Well, I need to read the opinion, okay? But obviously that's, I mean, you could say that's a textualist, originalist view. However, I do think that this has been grossly abused in recent years, okay? And that is the case that was being made by the plaintiffs in the case, and we're very sympathetic to that because it is a serious problem. We have it's become a tourism, birthing tourism, they call it, a trend where people will just come and you just come onto the soil and have your child, and then they're able to avail themselves of the welfare state and everything else. It's been abused. It's one of those things that was intended to serve a noble and important purpose, and has been thwarted and overused and abused. And so I'm sure that we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I'm sure the conclusion from this opinion is going to be that you got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history. And the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as a Congress.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, front row, I'm sorry.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
So you guys got that live reaction when he was just talking about what he hoped would happen, and then finding out that they actually had brought down the ruling that would uphold birthright citizenship, and then his live reaction to that. Right after the Supreme Court justices made their decision, the Democrats actually went outside and spoke to the media as well. I want to let you listen into what they had to say right after that ruling came down.
And I'm Congresswoman Grace Meng, chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. Thank you so much to my Democratic colleagues and fellow caucus leaders for joining us today to fight for our immigrant communities, for our Constitution and a core promise of our nation. If you are born in America, you are American.
That's right. Yeah. You're born in the USA.
Today, the Supreme Court upheld the promise of birthright citizenship, which was established more than 150 years ago by the 14th Amendment and affirmed in the landmark case United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which determined that Wong Kim Ark, the son of Chinese migrants born in San Francisco, was an American citizen. The Supreme Court ruled in his favor even at the height of the Chinese Exclusion Act because the 14th Amendment is abundantly clear. All persons born in the United States means all persons.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
It is because of people like him and the generations of Black Americans who fought to secure their rights through the 14th Amendment that I, the daughter of immigrants, could become a citizen by birthright and serve in the halls of Congress.
Yay.
It is how millions of Asian Americans, 65% of whom are foreign-born, more than any other ethnic group, could pursue the American dream. So as we celebrate today's ruling, I have a message for President Trump. You may believe you are above the law. You are not. You may try to divide Americans based on race, religion, or their country of origin, and you will fail. You may try to redefine what it means to be an American, and you will fail. We are American. We belong here. And no wannabe king will ever take that away from us.
Yeah.
I want to give a special shout out to the ACLU, Co-Counsel's Asian Law Caucus, Legal Defense Fund, Democracy Defenders Fund, the House Litigation Task Force, and all the advocates here today who fought to defend our fundamental rights and close Immigrant Heritage Month with this victory. With that, I'd like to hand the mic over to our fearless leader, Chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Adriano Espaillat.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, before he begins talking, I just wanted to give you a taste of how the Republicans reacted versus how the Democrats reacted. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court justices also made some decisions on some other controversial issues. So let's start with the transgender athlete ban. This was a pair of cases out of Idaho and West Virginia in which the Supreme Court justices decided to upholds those state laws that ban transgender student athletes from participating in female sports teams. Our justices found that the bans don't violate the federal Title IX civil rights statute. Then we've got an issue with the election law and voting and how it pertains to that. This was as it pertains to the Watson v. Republican National Committee case. The Supreme Court ruled in a 5-4 split vote to uphold the Mississippi law that allows mail-in ballots to continue to be counted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day and they arrive within 5 business days. So of course that was a defeat not only for Republicans in general but for President Donald Trump, who have been trying to manage the way that votes are done, especially absentee ballots, mail-in voting. And then last but not least, there was a decision that kind of affected how the president rules, how much power he's able to have. This is the Trump v. Slaughter case that we're talking about here. The Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 vote in this particular case that the president, in this case President Donald Trump, does have the authority to fire Federal Trade Commission commissioners without having to show cause or any wrongdoing. But in a separate and almost related action, we're talking about the Trump v. Cook case. The Supreme Court blocked President Donald Trump from immediately firing one of the Federal Reserve Board governors. We're talking about Lisa Cook here. So that's just a little taste of everything that happened with the Supreme Court. I wanted to break it down in a much more digestible way, because when we're getting so many rulings after ruling, sometimes it's hard to keep up and, you know, figure out what's up from down and what should we care about. So I think I just gave you guys 4 there that you can take home with you, maybe talk to your friends about, see if you guys have differing opinions on what happened. There's 1 more minute, so before we go anywhere, I want to talk to you guys about Billy Schmidt. He was a Penn State student who we heard was walking home, and then they say that some people opened fire, killing him. We actually unfortunately had video of that situation. Now, I'm not going to show you that video because it is extremely graphic, but you are taking a look at some video that the Philadelphia Police Department gave us. You can see suspect 1 and suspect 2 in this case. At the time when they gave us this video, and you could see them walking down the street, this may be before or after Billy Schmidt, that college student, was killed in our streets. You got a look at what they were wearing, what they looked like just a little bit. There's going to be some other video that shows you some other times where they were walking through the streets. They were hoping that somebody could recognize them. Well, someone did recognize them. They have now released the identities of those 2 guys. So we're talking about 2 teenagers. One's name is Kasim Smith. The other's name is Azubair Owen Fleming. Both of them are 16, and officials believe that those are 2 suspects in the killing of Billy Schmidt. Now, Schmidt, he was only 22 years old. They say he was shot and killed on June 6th, so really just a couple of weeks ago. This was in the 1900 block of Durford Street. And to make matters worse, they say that he was walking home and was only about a block or a couple blocks away from his house. They say that one of the individuals said something to him about his phone. He was trying to get it back. I guess they wanted to steal it. This is according to officials, what they're telling us. There was some sort of words exchanged between the 2 of them, and in some video that we got from neighbors, we can see the suspect turn around, point the gun at him, fire it, and like I said, they left him in the street. So unfortunately, he did pass from his injuries. According to the police department, they obtained arrest warrants for those 2 teenage boys that I'm telling you about here, again, in relation to the murder of Billy Schmidt. Again, their names are Kasim Smith and Azubair Owen Fleming. They're both 16 years old. They're wanted for murder and a couple of other offenses. If you know any other information about them, the police department is asking that you reach out to them immediately. You can even leave an anonymous tip. On that note, you guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, though, got a lot more news coming for you. I'm going to bring Jake Leonard up here. We're going to talk to you about some of the stories that are trending. And remember, let us know what you want to hear about. This is an interactive news chat. You can be a part of things. We'll be right back. guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I had to bring Jake Leonard up to the desk.
Hey.
Hey, I want to lighten things up because we just gave people a lot of heavy news.
Yes.
So
Very heavy.
usually when we talk to you, we go through what's trending, what are
Yes.
people scrolling on,
Yes.
what are they watching, what are they reading. So
Yes.
what did you find?
Okay, so something very, very interesting to
Uh-huh.
discuss tonight. Have you heard about the new movie Obsession?
Yeah, I've seen the commercials.
Okay, yeah. So it's huge right now. So huge that it just overtook Sinners. Again, another huge blockbuster.
Yeah,
Okay.
award-winning.
Yes. Overtook Sinners and has now become the highest grossing live action movie of the decade thus far.
Okay, so not just the year, the decade.
Yes. Yes. I
Okay.
believe the exact number is somewhere around $370 million.
Okay, so that's how much they've made. What was the budget for the film? Just
Okay.
out of curiosity.
Okay. Obviously, Sinners, huge blockbuster. Ryan Coogler was directing it. Michael B. Jordan, whatever. The estimated production budget was somewhere between like 90 million,
Okay.
like 100 million. So
Okay.
huge blockbuster. I mean, you've seen it. They had all these
I
crazy
did see
effects.
They
All-
made two Michael B.
Yes,
Jordans.
yes, they had a pretty stacked cast. Okay. On the other hand, Obsession, kind of a smaller indie film, no one in the cast is really known. I believe the director is actually like 26.
Okay,
So-
well, good for you.
Yeah, so this is one of his
That's a crazy
first
way to start
yes,
out.
movies. Take a guess, how much do you think the production budget for this
Well,
was?
Ryan Coogler had $90 million, and you just told me this is an indie film. Did we even break $1 million?
No.
No. I'm gonna say $200,000.
Okay, a little bit more than that.
Okay.
750,000.
Okay. That's why you're like,
Yeah,
because we were
you were
close.
You were close.
Okay.
But still under $1 million, and now it overtook Sinners. It's still in theaters. I just saw it,
They got
and
paid.
yeah, isn't that wow? It's really impressive, obviously, because it's a small indie film.
It's everyone's dream.
Yeah, this 26-year-old, comes out swinging, super, kind of DIY approach, and it just overtook this huge blockbuster. So that's amazing. It's also amazing because both films are classified as horror films, and typically horror films might not perform as well as some of like the typical
rom-com.
big
Or an
rom-coms,
action
like
film.
action films, like these blockbusters. So it's so impressive, and it's a lot of people are saying it's due in part to Gen Z and how we as a generation are bringing movie theaters back, which kind of leads
Wait.
us into our question of the night.
It does. And it also confuses me. Okay, so our question of the night, we wanted to know, would you rather go see a movie in the theaters, as Jake was just alluding to, apparently Gen Z does,
Yeah.
or would you just rather stream it at home? You want to be on the couch, you want to be in bed, you want to be comfortable? Let us know what you think. And the people did respond.
Yes. Yeah, so 63% say in theaters, 37% say stream it. And so I have some comments because, we post it on all our socials. Erin says stream depending on the theater and cost, which I feel like that's kind of what most people would say, depending on the movie. If you really want to see it, go see it in theaters. If not, wait until you can just watch it for free on Netflix or something. Bob says, yeah, I'd go to the movies if there was anything worth seeing. Rose says, and this is actually really interesting, too many cell phones in the movies, so I will stay at home and stream, which is a really valid argument because when I saw Obsession, there were multiple people around me on their phones and stuff, which I think
we're losing the
yes,
etiquette, guys.
Yes, I think that's interesting because I typically view, going to the theaters as kind of like a whole event. Like I make like an afternoon out of it or an evening of it, and usually when I go, I unplug, put phone away, and like I go to really immerse myself in
Lock
the movie.
in.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of why it's starting to come back with Gen Z, because more and more people are kind of like, okay, like let's put our phones away for an hour and a half up to 3 hours typically, and just kind of just get lost in all this, which I think is a really cool thing.
It is. And I mean, if I were going to answer this question, I think it depends on the film.
100%.
Like, I waited to see the Michael Jackson movie from home
Yes.
rather than seeing it in theaters.
Yes.
But then something like, what's that movie called? It's a Peele movie, a Jordan Peele movie.
Ooh, which one?
It was like one of the first ones that he came
Get
out
Out?
with. Yes.
Get Out, yes.
Get Out was one you had to
You
see
had
in
to
the
see in
theaters
theaters.
because it was a whole experience. Like the people around you kind of also
React.
made the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another good like argument for going to the movies. I mean, some people like really want silence and to lock in, which again I get, but I think some of the fun is having reactions, you know, like hearing people gasp or laugh or whatever. It really, I just feel like it brings people together kind of in the way that like a sporting event does or a concert, obviously not to the same extent, but it is kind of like a community. Everyone's interested in seeing the movie, and you know, for however long the movie lasts, like it doesn't matter anything except for the fact that you guys are all interested in watching the movie. So I think that's kind of a cool thing.
It is really cool. And I just want to go back real quick. You were mentioning the Gen Z,
Yes.
how apparently it's bringing back the culture of going back to the movies, which is so interesting to me because I know during the pandemic, I feel like that is kind of when movie culture like died.
100%.
You couldn't be in that closed off space with other people. But then in the same token, if I can be home in my pajamas and, you know, have
snuggled
whatever
up.
I'm not paying $15 for a bag of popcorn. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know, like you said, I think there are some movies that are meant to be seen on the big screen. Like you gotta see them.
Yeah.
So
Barbie for sure was one of them as well. Okay. Thank you for bringing us a look at what's trending out there and also bringing us our question of the night. We'll be checking in with you a little later for more, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for having me talk about movies.
The best part of the day, right? You guys, we've got a lot more news coming up for you guys. I know some of you guys love when we do our lighthearted stuff. Some of you guys are like, no, bring us the real news. So don't worry, we're getting back to the serious stuff when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. A couple of weeks back, we know that there was a horrible shooting out in Wilmington Hospital, also known as Christiana Care, and this is Wilmington, Delaware that we're talking about here. We know that a 19-year-old lost his life, another 19-year-old was left injured in this, and so many people were talking about employees, patients, just people who live in the community were traumatized by what happened. But we're hearing today they banded together. They had a nice little vigil. I want to get right out to Shawnette Wilson, who was in the room with them while they were talking. Shawnette, I know they had a full program. How did things go?
So it was held, Judea, at First Unitarian Church behind me, which is here in Wilmington. And there was a small gathering, smaller than what we, I think, expected. But one of the organizers actually talked about how a lot of the healthcare workers that work at Christianity Wilmington Hospital are still going through a lot of trauma, processing what happened, and weren't sure that they didn't feel comfortable coming out tonight to speak before, the community and before an audience, which is one of the reasons why they decided to live stream this so that, many of the staff at the hospital could still watch it and kind of take in the way the community is here to support them and to talk about the resources that are available to them. So they did have a program tonight. They led it off with a physician who works at the hospital. He was not there the day it happened, but he recalled getting a text message about what was happening and just the feeling that he felt about what his colleagues were going through there. So they had several people come and just talk about their experiences with gun violence and the trauma it leads to. So talking about what happened at Wilmington Hospital was just kind of like the focus of it, but they wanted to present an overall picture of how gun violence is just affecting everyone, affecting every community. So we did hear from people who have experienced trauma. They also read some messages from some of the doctors and nurses and staff who were there at Wilmington Hospital that day to just talk about, the feeling that they're left with, that they do a job where many of them had to come back to work the next day and they had not fully processed what was happening. They did touch on, the workers there feeling like they need a lot more support, that, they felt like they had to come back to work right away, as not to face disciplinary action. But again, just what this has left, the void, the sadness, the trauma it has left them with. So I did talk to one of the organizers just before this started. I'm going to let you listen to something that he said.
Unfortunately, gun violence is too common of an occurrence in this day and age, and it just gets a little bit scarier, a little bit more traumatic when it happens in a place that you feel safe. When you go to work every day, you should feel safe, and I think that this is really meant to bring people together and know that we are in this together, that we can talk to our colleagues, that we can continue to keep open communication, and that there are really great resources, whether in one of the faith leaders in the community, whether in some of the mental health services, whether in some of the trauma-informed care, that we brought resources from around the community together tonight.
So in the back of the church, they did have tables set up from different organizations who can help people, dealing with mental health issues, with trauma, with gun violence. They also lit candles during the program and also had a moment of silence twice for the people who have been affected by this. But it was just really interesting, Judea, to hear that particular physician who started off the program, read messages and, from the people who work there who, weren't able to come today, just about how difficult this has been. As you can imagine, these are people who had to see their coworkers shot, and at the same time had to care for patients who were there during a lockdown and still needed care. And they were in the middle of all this themselves. And it's heartbreaking to hear that some of them feel like, they maybe couldn't take the time to process this and had to come back to work. And when I say had to come back to work, not because they don't want to do the job that they love, but just because they also had gone through something that is just unfathomable in a place like a hospital. So, the goal of tonight was, for those watching live stream to just know that there are resources and there are people who are here for them and who are ready to walk this journey of healing along with them until the time comes that they themselves are ready to come out in public and speak or even ask for help.
Shauna, I appreciate you giving us a look at what was happening in there. That's the very top of the show. One of the first things that we heard, they were leading themselves into a moment of silence. So I also understand that this is a delicate story. There are a lot of emotions that are still high, as we could see, because maybe so many people didn't turn out, but maybe they were joining them on their live stream. That again, it is sensitive. I still think it's very important that we got out there, that we were able to get what we could. When is the next time we're going to see you? Because I know some people, they look forward to seeing the put together package of story and whatnot that you guys as reporters are able to give us. When will that happen?
Yeah, so tonight, we have the World Cup. So that is going to, push our news back a little bit. So people are going to have to tune in and see when the World Cup in the post ends. We're thinking it could be around 11 o'clock, but, give or take around then, we could be on air with a full report.
Yeah, well, shoot, in that case, we appreciate you even more that we were able to get this in as quickly as we could. That event literally just wrapping up, am I right? Or are they still going on inside?
Yeah.
So
they actually kind of condensed. They actually kind of condensed the program just because I think again it was a smaller turnout, and I don't want to really just kind of draw, as they say in Philly, draw on the number of people that were there, because the important part is that it was live streamed, and the people who they really wanted to reach with this, had the ability to watch in where they felt, most comfortable and was a safe space. So even though they didn't show up, very smart on the organizers' part to have it live stream. And again, they also did send in what they wanted to convey to people who were here about what they've gone through. But to answer your question, I think that it was kind of condensed a little bit just because of, the smaller crowd.
Yeah. All right. Again, Shawnette, thank you so much for giving us what you could on this story. We'll cross our fingers and hope that we see you a little later on with more. But if not, you guys, the Fox29.com website or the Free Fox Local app is where you'll be able to see her full report later on. Shawnette, thank you so much. I'm seeing in our live stream chat, a lot of you guys were weighing in. American Mom says they work in a hospital. They see trauma every day. There is no safe place ever. And I get the sentiment where you're coming from with that. I think in some ways I agree with you. It's one of those careers where you do see hard things every single day. I don't think anybody wants to see a shooting happen or wants to live through one, experience one, lose a coworker to one. But you are correct in the fact that they do see difficult things every single day. Still, I think that having the option to stay at home and stream this, where their safe place in a sense would be with their families, with their friends, or it may be in solitude if that's something that they choose to do, where they can process their own emotions without other people looking at them, without having to be strong for everybody else. In a way, I would say their home may be their safe space, but I get where you're coming from with that, and in a way, like I said, I agree with you. We've got some more big headlines that are coming our way. Earlier today, I saw that there was a train derailment. This was in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. One of our reporters actually got out to the scene. Skyfox flew over it, so you're going to see the camera zoom in and out. It's going to change as they're getting more of this scene for you guys. So we heard it was a freight train. Again, it went off the rails in the Bensalem area, and at that point in time, there was a shelter in place issued for people who live around this area, because they say that some of those train cars may have been carrying some waste or some sort of material in there that would be harmful to other people. Now, since then, that shelter in place has been lifted, and officials did give us a press conference where they're able to dive more into what took place there, why they think this may have happened, and any other question that the media had at the time. I want to let you guys listen in to what they had to tell us.
We're here today to give you a briefing on a train derailment that we were notified of on the CSX tracks at approximately 2:15 today. We were advised that the train was traveling eastbound, at which point approximately 16 train cars derailed from the rail. There were 72 total cars. The concern at the time was that 3 were designated as hazmat material. We were able to dispatch our Bucks County hazmat team. 2 were carrying hazmat materials, but thankfully they were not leaking. At this time, it is deemed safe. There's no threat to public safety. The initial threat was that there could have been a leak of the hazardous material train cars. In an abundance of caution, we evacuated the immediate area, residents on Grove Ave, businesses of Al's Auto, and some of the homes on Old Lincoln Highway. And we had others shelter in place until we could make that determination. At this point, Bristol Road will remain closed from Old Lincoln to Brownsville for an extended period of time as we transition from our local investigation over to CSX Police and their hazmat team, who's going to now be responsible to clean the 16 trains that are derailed currently and are blocking trains from passing the area. Our goal is to get this moving as quick as we can so we can not only have the freight trains back up and moving, but also open the rails up for the SEPTA regional line. Again, no threat to public safety at this time. Everyone did a great job responding quickly and immediately to mitigate any problems to the public, but we're very thankful that nothing is leaking and there was no passengers on the freight train whatsoever. It was just freight material, so at this time it is safe. Any questions?
What was their derailment?
Nothing has been turned over at this point. CSX hazmat team will be responsible for that, moving the heavy equipment. When they offload everything there, they don't believe there'll be any further danger or public safety risk, but they'll coordinate their efforts with us. They believe that they'll be able to do this without incident. At this time, the evacuation order has been lifted. We're announcing that now. We'll be posting on our social medias. Everyone can return to their homes or their business in that affected area.
What caused the derailment?
I don't have that information yet. I would assume that CSX will provide that at a later time once their investigation is complete.
Do you know what the hazmat material was in those two cars?
I don't have the specifics. There was an alcohol substance in one, and I believe an acid in another, but I don't have the specific materials. Did you have a question, Joe? No.
That was my question.
Oh, okay. Anything else?
Other than Bristol Road, everything else is open now, Lincoln, all those areas, or is it just, what's the closed down area?
It's only literally closed Bristol at Old Lincoln, and then it's closed at Brownsville and Bristol. All other traffic is flowing. We're hoping we can open that up sometime shortly. And I would also like to thank our volunteer fire departments who immediately responded, all the assisting law enforcement agencies that came to help with traffic, and to ensure that there was no risk to the public in Ben Sound. At this time, this is all we'll be putting out. I do have a number that you can call. CSX has been very responsive, and I'm directing everything to the CSX Media Relations at 1-855-955-6397, or Bucks County Department of Emergency Management is also aware and communicating out to the public as well. So they're the two entities, or the Ben Salem Department of Public Safety, that will put info out. But we believe this issue will be is mitigated as far as it needs to be right now, and hopefully the routes will be open sometime in the near future.
And who's leading the investigation to why it happened?
CSX. Yes.
No exact timeline on when this route may reopen?
I don't have that right now. They deal with this quite often, so I'm sure they have a lot of professional response to this. I would think it won't be an extended project. There is a representative from CSX here right now, but he will not be speaking today. You'll have to defer to that media relations line for any public comment from the company.
What about the SEPTA trains coming from Floyd, Trent, or the Langhorne?
Currently not running. We're trying to get them up and running as soon as possible.
Is that track?
They're on scene as well, SEPTA Police. Anything else? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right, you guys, so with that, as I mentioned, they did lift that shelter in place. They said that there was no issue, problem posed, or risk posed to the residents who live nearby. But that is something that happened out in Ben Salem, and obviously a very big thing when trains go off the rails. The railway has to be repaired. There was product in those cart freights, the train cars, so that's going to have to be replaced as well. But a big situation, a very messy situation that took place a little earlier today. Now, we are on watch because I do hear that the New Jersey governor is set to have a press conference. So earlier today, the New Jersey lawmakers did decide to approve and pass about a $60 billion budget for their fiscal 2027 year. Now, when the governor talks, I assume it'll be a point where she could decide to sign the budget into law, or she could decide to turn it down. We don't quite know exactly what she will be discussing, but it does have to do with the budget. That was supposed to start at 8:15. Obviously, we are now at 8:17, so we are on watch. But we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, either we'll have that press conference or we'll get you some other live breaking news for you. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You are taking a live look out in multiple areas in New Jersey. You've got Wildwood, you've got Cape May, Atlantic City, and Ocean City. It is a beautiful day in June. Like, this is the perfect way to end it, although it's going to get so hot soon. We do see people out on the boardwalk, which seems to be the place to be. Of course, down the shore is also the place that you want to be when you've got these hot summer nights. I want to cool off in the water, get a live look at the sunset, all of that good stuff. So again, those are just a couple looks of what's going on around New Jersey. In the meantime, remember, we are on watch. That is because New Jersey's Governor Mikey Sherrill is supposed to have a press conference soon discussing the fiscal year 2027 budget. Again, that could happen at any second. If it does, we'll get you right out to it live. We've got more news coming your way though. So if you're looking for something to do on July 4th and maybe you don't want to get outside because it's super duper hot, just stay inside, stream Fox Local. We are going to have live coverage for you all day long. We're going to have fun with you. We're going to do trivia with you. We're going to do a whole bunch of things. And of course, we're going to watch the fireworks. We'll have all of that right on the free Fox Local app. And I want you to take a look at who's going to join me when we do that.
Excitement filled.
It's the World Cup, baby!
Of course you're excited.
all day live coverage. You'll have me 6 to 9 p.m. I'm really excited to get together with you guys. I'm trying to find a way to get some of your pictures, your videos. Show me how you guys are celebrating July 4th, whether it's at home or you're out and about. I don't care. I want to see it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get that stuff right here on Philadelphia Live. So it's going to be a fun-filled, packed day, full of news, full of excitement, full of fun, and I hope to see you this Saturday. In addition to that, Philly has put together a couple of different ways that you can celebrate the 4th of July. We'll get into how they're doing Independence Week in just a little while, but we've got an interesting news package to show you all. Pete Cudahy, he's from Fox News. He represents us here very, very well in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. And he talked a little bit about some of our history. So keep in mind, this is America's 250th birthday. We want to show you guys what it really means to be American. What are some of the things that maybe you take for granted? Some of the fun facts that you may forget or just didn't know existed at all. And this one in particular has to do with Betsy Ross. Take a listen.
This is one of the most recognizable symbols in our country. The 13 red and white stripes and 50 stars we know today represent the 27th version of America's flag, and the longest running, flying high over 65 years.
Good day, friends. Welcome to my upholstery shop.
The Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia is going all out for America's 250th birthday, showing visitors how our flag came to be. In 1776, 24-year-old upholsterer Betsy Ross was approached by members of the Flag Committee, including George Washington, who presented her with the design of the flag and asked her to make it.
She said she'd never made one before, but she would certainly try. The flag that they showed her that was drawn on a piece of paper had 6 pointed stars, and she recommended 5 pointed stars because they were easier to make. She had a method that she had learned as a child to fold a piece of cloth or paper, and she could cut a perfect 5-pointed star with just one snip of her scissors.
Betsy risked her life and liberty to sew the first flag, hand-stitching it at night, likely in the privacy of her bedroom instead of her upholstery shop, taking about a week to complete.
You have to remember that we were a British colony at the time, so making the flag would have been considered an act of treason. If she had been caught by the British or loyalists, she could have been, at the very least, imprisoned or possibly even executed.
Betsy's work created a flag with 13 stripes representing each of the colonies, and 13 stars in a circle to symbolize equality among those colonies. The design became the nation's first official flag when the Continental Congress approved a resolution on June 14, 1777.
It shows that ordinary people can contribute important things to this country as well. The country wasn't just founded by wealthy, powerful white men, the founding fathers. It was women, it was free and enslaved people, it was new immigrants. All of them contributed to the founding of this nation. And that's represented through that first flag.
In the early days, the flag was used on battlefields, flown over military forts, and hoisted to the top of American ships, serving as a means of identification. But as the country evolved, so did the flag.
They weren't a symbol of our national identity as they were today. That didn't happen until the Civil War. That's when you started seeing flags flown over schools, flown on government buildings, flown on houses. It's become much more powerful and meaningful to people.
The first update to the flag came in 1795 when Vermont and Kentucky were added, and the 27th and most recent version of the flag was made when Hawaii became the 50th state in 1960. In Philadelphia, Pete Cudahy, Fox News.
That was a cool report from Pete. Again, just a little bit of history, just in case you didn't know. It's kind of the stuff that you take for granted when you live in a place like this that has so much history just like woven into it. So, did you know? Now, I mentioned that Philadelphia is planning some really cool events for July 4th. Keep in mind, there are some changes because we do have a heat wave coming our way. We're talking like triple-digit heat. So here's what you could still get into and some of the changes that are being made. You're taking a look at that graphic that was just put out. This is the red, white, and blue to-do for July 2nd. So they say hot weather, cool celebrations, still plenty to get on. 7 a.m., that is when you can get out to see the Liberty Bell. That's going to happen on Independence Mall. At 9 a.m., they're going to have a flag raising at the Betsy Ross House, which just coincides with what we just told you about her. Then at 10 a.m., you can visit the historic district attractions. There are going to be all different types of things that you can do, and it's family friendly. And then at 11 a.m., that is when they plan to have the big parade. It's supposed to start at the National Constitution Center. There are going to be so many more things to do throughout the evening, including that red, white, and rosé picnic, just in case you were looking for some things to get into. Again, that is a look there. And I think the most exciting part, that last one down there, or the second to last one, it looks like they're mentioning you may get to see or hear from Queen Latifah. What? That is insane. So that's just a live look at what you can do if you're still looking for some plans. But again, got to keep you up to date on all the cancellations as well. So real quick, let me just run through them. I've got a list of them right here on my screen. Excessive heat throughout our area has canceled the Norristown July 4th parade. So the municipal leaders say that it was a difficult decision. It was not easy at all, but they have to cancel their 4th of July parade due to this heat that is coming their way. If you're looking for more information on that or other things that you can do, you can head to www.norristown.gov. I'm hearing that the city of Millville in New Jersey has also decided that they've got to cancel their July parade, the 4th of July parade. So again, it says that this is due to public safety requirements. They want to keep people safe with that excessive heat that's coming our way. Now, they say that you can go out to some other events that may still be taking place at the Tim Shannon Sports Complex. It's going to be behind Lakeside Middle School, and they'll have something going on from 6 to 9 p.m. So after the sun starts to set, they'll have some activities for you all there. All right, you guys, I'm seeing that in the corner of my eye that the governor is starting to come out, or at least we've got a podium shot. Remember, they're going over this fiscal year 2027 budget. Let's see what they've got to say.
All right. Senate President Scutari, Speaker Coughlin, Senate Majority Leader Ruiz, Assembly Majority Leader Greenwald, Budget Chair Senator Sarlo and Assemblywoman Pintor-Marin, Treasurer Aaron Binder, staff on all of our teams who worked around the clock over these past months, and certainly our Lieutenant Governor and our Chief Operating Officer. I want to speak directly to the people of New Jersey. What we just passed today is an affordability budget, one that attacks the rising cost of housing, health care, utilities, and property taxes. In March, I proposed a budget of $60.7 billion, and that's where we landed. Because right now, New Jersey is facing an affordability crisis. As I've traveled throughout our great state, I've heard from so many people who are frustrated. We've been told our whole lives that this is America. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. If you work hard and play by the rules, you can make a good life for yourself and your family. But there are too many people here working too hard to struggle to pay their bills at the end of the month. So this budget, it focuses on you. A budget that builds a future for your kids and your family. As I ran for governor, I charted out two possible paths. One where a few people get ahead by putting themselves first at the expense of everyone else, or another where we build something together, understanding that when we all do better, we all do better. Donald Trump has chosen the first path, but I'm putting New Jersey on that second path, so together we can build something worthy of our state and worthy of our kids. This budget puts affordability first. We're delivering the most property tax relief in state history. I charted out a better path for stay in March, and working together with Assembly Speaker Coughlin, it's in an even stronger place now, focused on middle-class seniors so they can afford to stay and retire in New Jersey. And we can't make New Jersey more affordable until we make housing more affordable. This budget protects the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, investing tens of millions of dollars in building housing that families can afford. It increases down payment assistance, so first-time homebuyers can get a foot in the door and begin to grow their family's generational wealth. And it expands funding for veterans with street-level outreach teams and financial help to get our vets in permanent housing and aid in our goal of effectively ending veteran homelessness in New Jersey this year. In healthcare, this budget invests $100 million more in SNAP and Medicaid. We are fighting against the Trump administration's attempts to defund these critical programs and fighting for the New Jerseyans who rely on them every day. We're making real investments in public health, reproductive health, and vaccines so people can live healthier, safer lives and our kids aren't at risk from preventable diseases. And when I was in the House, I saw great results for families when we passed the child tax credit, giving parents more money for childcare and summer camps so their kids can thrive while they're at work. It's one of the most impactful affordability steps we can take for families with kids. And with Senate President Scutari's partnership, we increased it by 25% in this budget. This is also an opportunity budget. From the crossing of the Delaware to Trenton and Newark, Camden and Patterson building the nation during the Industrial Revolution, to Bell Labs inventing world-class technologies like the laser and the transistor, New Jersey always finds a way or makes one. So here, we are making a way forward for you, your family, and the businesses that create opportunity and power our economy. We're expanding assistance for minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses to help people access capital and contracts, because by helping more people open businesses, we can grow jobs in our economy. This budget makes record investments in education, so we have the best prepared students in the nation. And it expands evidence-based programs that do just that, things like high-intensity tutoring. But it's not just in academics where our kids need to be supported. It's in mental health. This budget funds a new program, Spark, to deliver specialized, intensive mental health support in schools, making it easier for families to access. And it creates a social media research center at one of our universities to take on big tech and protect our kids. Our kids are going to thrive and drive our technology future, not be controlled and damaged by it. But if we truly want to meet the challenges of the future, to help New Jerseyans get good jobs and navigate the changes AI will bring, to fulfill that American dream right here, we can't ignore tough problems. We can't kick them down the road. And we know too many past administrations did that. This budget runs towards our toughest problems, not away from them. It's the most fiscally responsible budget passed in decades and invests in the priorities that matter most to working families. It fully funds our pension, as my legislative colleagues have done for the 6 past fiscal years. It doesn't raise taxes on individual New Jerseyans. It cuts the structural deficit in half through $2 billion in tough, necessary cuts and hundreds of millions in new revenue gained from closing corporate loopholes and asking corporations to pay their fair share in health care. It increases the surplus substantially from the original budget, so we're prepared to deal with Trump's continued cost hikes and attacks on working people. And we kept our budget growth well under inflation. I know the process needs work, it takes too long, it could be much more transparent, but we took steps in the right direction this year. We didn't hide behind quick fixes or budget gimmicks or Band-Aids. We made hard choices, we took real, decisive action, and we brought more transparency to the process. It reflects my administration's larger focus on increasing transparency and accountability. In April, under the new COO, we launched a budget report card so every New Jerseyan can see where their tax dollars are going in one place. We updated it yesterday, so it's already tracking this year's budget. This budget also staffs up departments like environmental protection to cut down on permitting delays, and it speeds up the licensing process so we can get New Jerseyans to work in the fields that need it most. We're going to keep working together to improve accountability in state government. The people of New Jersey deserve that. And now, that's more important than ever, as we continue to face unparalleled incompetence, corruption, and self-dealing from Donald Trump. As the president accepts planes and cryptocurrency from foreign governments, as he sets up sweetheart deals so his kids make millions, if not billions, as you have trouble supporting your kids, as he causes higher inflation month after month and blows billions on a war he can't explain and he can't seem to get out of, we in New Jersey are not accepting the status quo. In New Jersey, we're going to fight for middle-class families. We're going to fight so struggling families have a seat at the table. and we're going to fight to make your kids' future brighter. All of our problems, including all of those created by Washington, are solvable, and your New Jersey government is working hard to solve them. I want to thank them, all of our fantastic public servants, researching policy, coding and developing new accountability tools, building infrastructure faster and cheaper. We are here for all of you, and I could not be more proud than to be your governor, or more honored than to continue to fight for you and for your families. Thank you so much. And now I will turn it over to Senate President Scutari.
First, I want to thank the governor for leading us in these negotiations for the many months that we were engaged in them. I wish I could just incorporate by reference Senator Sarlo's speech on the Senate floor today, because I think he said it all. He's our budget chairman. He did a fantastic job, along with the leadership of Teresa Ruiz, who's our majority leader, and working with Speaker Coughlin, we've helped to craft a really outstanding budget. I'm very happy to work with these outstanding public servants, including Lou Greenwald and Chairwoman Pinto Moran. Great job by all parties, an outstanding balanced budget, and really a pleasure to work with this new administration. I know that we'll get better and better as time goes on, but this was a good year for all of us. I believe that what we put in the budget reflects our shared values and a shared mission to reduce costs and make sure that the longer-term stability of the state of New Jersey can be achieved. I want to thank the governor again for all her leadership. Look forward to the remarks of our speaker, who was an outstanding partner in this process. I want to thank him for all his friendship over the years and for doing a great job in leading the assembly. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with everybody on a really special night for the state of New Jersey. I want to thank the governor first and foremost for her leadership and her partnership in putting this budget together. Budgets are tricky things, and they take an awful lot of work and commitment, countless hours by a lot of people whose names you probably will never know, but eat an awful lot of pizza during this time of the year and drink an appallingly lack of beer. But the truth of the matter is it is about being committed and working hard for the people of New Jersey, and that's what we did today. The governor outlined some of the things that we have achieved in this budget, and those are things that are really meaningful and powerful for the people of New Jersey. It doesn't happen without the leadership. I'd like to thank my colleague and friend, Senate President Scutari, Budget Chair Sarlo, Majority Leader Ruiz on the Senate side, and of course my extraordinary team, my Majority Leader Lou Greenwald and my Budget Chair Ileana Pinto Moran, along with the countless number of people who worked so hard to get this done. I'd also like to take, I will take some credit for this, actually a lot of credit for this. Aaron Binder started in the AMO, and so I'm so proud that the treasurer was here today and the work that he had done today. But the real winner tonight was the 9.5 million people of New Jersey. People who we have said, we got to work about 4 years ago, back in right after the 21 election, and said, you know, we need to focus more on kitchen table issues. And that's what this budget does. It does an awful lot of good things for people that we have done. We've focused on the stuff that people are talking about. That's why when you saw budget resolutions from the legislature, it included things like summer tag to help students who are facing challenges as they fight their way through college. We talked about making sure that people had the health care that they need. We made sure that the things that people care about on a day-to-day basis. And I'm particularly pleased with where we ended up on Stay NJ. It's something that we have worked on for a long time. It's something that senior citizens really care about. You know, it's a myth that everybody's leaving the state of New Jersey. The only group that is senior citizens, and we're making sure now that they can rely on this going forward. I trust we have put it in a place where they can rely on this being there year and there, particularly people who are retired. That took a lot of work and a lot of commitment on a whole lot of people's part, and I thank the governor for being a terrific partner in helping us get that along the line. So as we move forward, we should be proud of the work that we have done tonight, standing up for the people that we have always said we would stand up for, the people who work hard in the state of New Jersey, who make the place go, make it special. And today we achieved a lot in helping them out. When they think about who's standing on their side, when you look at this budget, they'll know. It's people that you see here in this room talking about the things, listening to the people who make the difference each and every day in New Jersey. So thank you all for your hard work. Thank you for the success of this budget. It's a privilege to be part of this group, and thank you all very much. And now it is my privilege to introduce an extraordinary leader, Senate Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz.
Thank you, Speaker. Not to be repetitive, but a debt of gratitude to the governor, the administration, the entire staff. When you were not picking up the phones, the staff does an extraordinary work. To all of you, I'm looking at all of you right here, and then to our phenomenal team, Erica, Justin, and Jess, and Liz, and Mike. You know, we get in spaces. We're here hour after hour, but the people who support us, who support the people who call New Jersey home, is this wonderful staff that got us to this finish line today. And what I'm so proud of is that collectively on the legislative side, with the steadfast commitment of the Speaker and my Senate President, my budget chair, who's the budget chair in the Assembly, who's my running mate, my friend, the budget chair, who's my work husband, I think here down in the Senate. I always tell Connie I apologize for interrupting dinners. And just what we did was, honestly, you know, when they used to say, try to make $1 out of 50 cents, we did it. And we did it in a really high quality way where it made investments back into human capital, created pathways for health equity, make sure that children will still be fed, making sure that the dollar goes further with the child tax credit. The list goes on and on and on. And I'm just so proud that we exercise leadership, not from a standpoint of an elected title, but from a purpose point of view, from a people point of view, from a collective consciousness that understood these are tough times, but that we would make it work on behalf of everyone who calls New Jersey home. And that looks very different for a lot of different people, but we did that in this budget. Doesn't matter what zip code you're in, doesn't matter whether you were born here or not. Every single line item, there is some layer of protection that you can secure and hang your hat on to say, tomorrow will be a better day in the Garden State. And so without further ado, I want to bring up the majority leader in the Assembly, the majority leader who doesn't have the best hair as far as the majority leaders are concerned. It's a running joke we have. It's a running joke. That's part of the criteria when you seek this title. My partner in the Assembly, Assembly Majority Leader Lou Greenwald.
Thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here with my friends, and I say that sincerely. The men and women that we put this budget together with have worked countless hours. They have worked tirelessly. They have not been assembled by accident. We are here because we represent every corner of this state. And together, we have not just worked on this budget together, but we've developed a friendship that recognizes the needs of each region of the state. I've worked with these men and women for years. I am proud of what we've accomplished. I am equally proud to have been joined by our new friends, the governor and the lieutenant governor, who were instrumental in helping us continue, I think, a legacy of what we believe. I am proud to be the majority leader of what is the majority Democratic Party of this legislature. It is not by happenstance that we stand here that way. This budget is a reflection of our party's beliefs, our ideals, and our values. Today we heard a lot from the opposition party of their frustration with our process, of how we fund things, and the programs that we support, and where those programs go. The reality is that regardless of political party, this budget puts more money in the property tax relief than at any time in the history of the state. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you will benefit, regardless of where you live, from these programs. Your child, regardless of political party, will participate in the finest public education system in the country that is funded at a higher level than at any other time in the history of the state. If you're a government worker, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you were stabilized by a pension that continues to be fully funded and was ignored by previous Republican administrations. There were suggestions today from the opposition party, their frustration of spending money in a supplemental budget versus the next budget, and what did that mean? Was that a gimmick around the surplus that we've established? Our surplus today is 20 times higher than the previous Republican administration. Our credit rating is up. We have partnered with our business communities to return revenue into this state to give back to our residents, regardless of where they live. While the president has cut programs for housing, we've invested in the housing programs for first-time homebuyers. We believe in restoring funding to education, to medical education, to cancer treatment, to clinical trials, to research and development, while the President of the United States has cut programs carelessly and callously to residents across this country. And in New Jersey, that meant 30 days ago, over 60,000 of our residents lost their health insurance. 30,000 people lost their food security and SNAP. This budget helps stabilize when the president and Washington is turning their backs on our residents and people around the country. We're saying enough is enough. So yes, this budget is a reflection of what we believe. We are proud of it, and it is why New Jersey is growing its economy year over year. Very proud to have been a part of this, very proud of the people that I stand with here today. Thank you for letting us serve you. God bless you. Thank you very much. It's my honor to introduce one of my friends who I've had the privilege to serve with for so many years. He is our longest-serving budget chairman in the state, my friend Paul Sarlo.
Thank you, Majority Leader Greenwald, and to my amazing group of colleagues. Thank you for all the kind words here and for your leadership. Governor, thank you for your leadership in bringing us all together, and to your treasurer, to your staff that you have assembled. They made themselves available all hours of the day. They took our calls, whether it was questions, whether it was running different calculations or putting together spreadsheets. They made themselves available even when the conversations weren't pleasant, but we still worked together and we worked through this. Earlier this evening, in a bipartisan manner, we passed a $60.7 billion budget, the budget that was introduced by the governor. And I think that is very, very important. It's something I am proud of. But in that 60.7, we put a lot into that budget, right? You heard of, and I'm not going to repeat it, but you heard from my colleagues, there's a big affordability piece, but there's a lot of responsibility as well, including cutting the structural deficit in half and a $6 billion surplus, unheard of. All right, a $6 billion surplus heading into next year, and God knows what we're going to be heading into next year with geopolitical forces and HR1 and all the other things that are happening in our world today. So it's a responsible budget, and it delivers for the hardworking people of New Jersey, and it's an affordable budget. I want to thank all the members of the Budget Committee before I part, both Republican and Democrats, quite frankly, because the man hours, many of you know I am a workaholic. I don't mind putting the hours in. But they're right there with us. We put a lot of man hours in this year, in the public domain. More man hours than I could ever. Woman hours, man hours. Got my engineering hat on. The amount of hours that were put in were just incredible in the public domain. And I'm really proud of Senate Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz and Nick Scutari for keeping us focused. Yes, please don't call me after midnight tonight, Senator Ruiz. And don't call me before 5 a.m., but it has been a great run. Thank you, Governor, for bringing us together. Thank you, Speaker Coughlin and your team. God bless you all. My longtime partner, Assemblywoman from Newark, Eliana Pinto-Marin, who is just an incredible leader in the Assembly. Love her work ethic, love her leadership. And I love to take her calls because she really sheds a good light on the process and keeps things really real. So God bless you. Come on up.
Paul, I know my hair is not as good as Teresa or Lou's, but you were a little jealous. Is that why you almost forgot to introduce me?
I'm losing my hair from this budget every year.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Governor. Since I'm last, I hope all of you will enjoy the next 25 minutes. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Governor, thank you very much for your leadership in this process. To my speaker and my majority leader, thank you for having the confidence in me in moving the Budget Committee forward, and to my budget members who are spectacular. To my colleagues and to Senate President on the side, Teresa and Paul, like we really are like a little budget family. We are like family because in all families we agree, we disagree, but above all we respect each other and we love each other as much as we move forward together. So I appreciate that. Governor, I know that a lot of people have spoken great things about Aaron. I can tell you other really bad things about Aaron. No, but to the treasurer that you picked, he is fantastic, has been steadfast, and has helped this process move forward in a great way, as well as with your staff. So I appreciate that. I'm not going to get into a lot of the details. A lot of us before me came and spoke and talked about specific things. I think that one thing, if you've gotten to know me throughout the last couple of years, that I talk about is I look at the budget as not just numbers on a piece of paper. I look at the budget as things that we care for in this state, whether they're people, organizations, or commitments that we've made to families. And I think that that's one of the most important things that I try to finish the budget process with, is that every number represents something that's extraordinarily important to all of us. Sometimes how we get to those numbers is a little contentious, but I think at the end of the day, walking away, if you're a little bit unhappy, I've always been told, then you've got something pretty spectacular that happened. And I think that's how all of us feel today, is that we're not ecstatic, we're not super happy, but we are very content in the work product that we have. And it makes me feel very proud that year after year, we've been able to walk away that way. So thank you to everyone here. Thank you, Governor. Look forward to next year when we have a lot more time and having an administration coming in and kind of the condensed timeline. It is a very challenging process. So I look forward to next year with a little bit more breathing space and looking at things that we've learned from this budget process, which I think is always important in the end. So thank you everyone, and enjoy your night.
Okay.
You were talking, Governor, about the process still needs work, working on transparency. You thought you made strides. There's a lot of criticism today about, again, the process being really rushed, using the supplemental $358 million from the 26 budget to support the spending this year. What happened? Did it become too, condensed timeline? Where do you think transparency improved versus what you think could be better?
Well, as I said, and I think it's really important, we pledged to put out a budget report card. And in part, I did that because as I was trying to understand where money was being spent, it was really difficult. You had to go to multiple websites, really dig into it. So putting it in one place was a key objective. We did that very shortly after I got into office. We've already updated it with this year's budget, and we'll continue to update it. In the money from last year, I also pledged not to use gimmicks or tricks, that we were really planning not just an affordability budget now, but wanted to create an opportunity budget for the future. And unfortunately, in Jersey City, which accounts for well over half of what we had to spend from this year's funds, Steve Phillip had left that city in over $250 million of debt. It was almost insurmountable for that town. And so we got to work. We've been working with them for many months trying to chart out the best, most fiscally responsible path forward. That's why we did a loan, because we still wanted to make sure that there was some skin in the game, so that will be paid back to the state. We didn't put it on the backs of the entire state. But at the same time, we made sure that there weren't mass layoffs of firefighters and cops and people across the town as they, increase costs everywhere. That's what good, well-run government does, is make sure you're really addressing those key tough problems, and we didn't shy away from it. We didn't kick the can down the road. We took on that problem head on.
Governor, during your budget address, you said that you wanted to add last minute giveaways but the budget deal on your desk doesn't include $10 million in legislative add-on. Is this a reversal from your position when it comes to making that budget address?
What's really important to me was that any additions required subtractions. And I talked that over, and I found the Assembly Speaker, I found the Senate President to be really thoughtful as we charted the path forward. I was a member of a legislature. a legislature, I know there were key projects in my district, things like desilting and desnagging rivers or a sump pump that really needed to be addressed. And so these legislators behind me put in some really good ideas and projects, but we couldn't balloon the budget. When I keep saying it was 60.7 in March and it's 60.7 now, normally you see, anywhere near $1 billion. That's been going on for about a decade. But we are charting a path forward of affordability for the people of New Jersey and opportunity in the future and growth for our children. The treasurer can go over the details, but yes, it's a 60.7 budget for next year. For this budget going forward, it's $60.7 billion going forward. 60.7 for this year's budget. I mean, he's happy to walk you through it if you want him to. There, in the coming year, look, the minute we put last year's budget or this upcoming year's budget forward, we got to work on the next budget cycle. And so I know our Commissioner of Education has been meeting with people across the state, mayors, school boards, et cetera, to delve into how we can fund schools. We spent more money on school funding than we've ever spent. And yet we still see many towns struggling. So we are going to work to address the school funding formula going forward, yes. Thanks. All right.
All right, so you guys listen in there to the governor as well as a couple of other lawmakers sharing how they feel about moving forward with the $60.7 billion budget, which, by the way, you guys, is the largest spending plan ever in New Jersey's history. They say that this funds will be for schools, property tax relief, health care, transportation, pensions, also some other legislative priorities. They say that they'll have them outlined somewhere online. I'm looking for where that's going to be, just in case you want to know exactly the breakdown, how things are going to go, how much to this organization, how much to that one. I'm looking for it. If I find it, I'll share it with you guys. But I wanted to make sure that we got that live press conference so you guys could hear from the governor herself and from those lawmakers themselves exactly how they plan to spend New Jersey's dollars. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, though, I've got a lot of local news to get through with you, including this crazy investigation that's taken a mysterious turn. Apparently, a home is now tied to a cold case of missing women. We'll get into it when we come back. Philadelphia Live. My name is Judea Murray. If you're just now joining us, I go over breaking news. I go over live news. If it's happening, we try to get it out to you. But right now, I want to dive deeper into a really weird story from Philadelphia. So there was a home that was under investigation. Our Skyfox flew over the scene. We also had a reporter who was live on the grounds trying to find out more information. They said that at one point in time, neighbors and some officials thought that there may be some hanky-panky going on in the house. They thought at a period of time that maybe bodies had been discovered there, but there weren't. But officials say there was a crazy amount of blood seen at the scene. And things get even weirder when you dive into the details. Officials say when they stopped the man who was living at that house, so you're taking a look at him there, a picture of him, they say they stopped him and he was riding in a car along with a woman who at this point in time, we don't know her identity. They were stopped near Independence National Historical Park on June 19th by a federal park ranger. Officials say that they saw inside of the car a pair of tweezers, a butane lighter, and officials usually link those two things to drug use, and so they decided to look in a little further. What exactly is going on here? Well, they asked the woman who was in the car her name. She gives the name of a woman who was reported missing out of Philadelphia. They say this woman also had some visible sores. Now they know she wasn't the woman who's missing, and so the investigation got a little weirder. They say during the search, they found 2 loaded firearms underneath the driver's seat. They also found a switchblade knife, glass drug pipe, crack cocaine, a cattle prod, and more. And then they say they talked to the guy and tried to ask him some more questions. At that point in time, they say they looked into a bag in the trunk and found a fake DEA badge and some ID cards that showed that man's face, but had the name Eugene Frederick Steiner on there. Now, that's not his name, and they were able to confirm that he has never worked with the DEA. So all of these odd, weird clues are leading them toward finding more about this investigation. Unfortunately, there's not too much we know, but during Good Day Philadelphia, 2 of our anchors you guys know and love, we're talking about Alex and Mike, they actually sat down with a reporter, an investigative reporter from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and she also is looking deeper into this story because it has a lot of us scratching our heads just trying to figure out what's going on here. I want to let you guys listen into her insight.
So the Inquirer has a team of reporters following this case because it keeps just unveiling new information and has been tracking down new developments. So this morning, they're reporting police found a significant amount of blood inside of Horsch's home when it was searched.
So the Inquirer's investigative reporter and Pulitzer Prize winner, by the way, Barbara Laker, is here. Thank you. Well, that was big news yesterday, that they found a significant amount of blood?
Correct. They don't know if it's human blood.
This is the house on Chew.
Correct.
Okay.
So they found a significant amount of blood in the house, and they just need to get it tested to see if it's human blood or animal blood.
And how long has it been there?
Right.
I guess it would take maybe a couple days to figure that out, if it's human or animal blood.
Right. It would take a little time, but they may be excavating the yard also.
Oh, the backyard of the Chew home?
Of the Chew home, correct.
And they found all kinds of things in there, right? Vats of chemicals?
Yeah, chemicals that they don't really have identified them yet. Drums in the basement. They found some drugs, but the things that they are really concerned about are the chemicals and these drums or vats.
Well, you know,
all the blood.
in the first few hours of all this, people think, oh, there's a bunch of bodies in there.
They have found no bodies.
They have found them, but they are going to dig up the backyard.
They are planning to, is what we hear, yeah.
And the interesting thing is they've been investigating and talking to witnesses. Aren't there people who've said that they've heard him talking about how he knows how to get rid of bodies?
Yeah, the thing with that is the dad wrote novels and made erotic films, so they're trying to determine, for one thing, who wrote the note that they found in the house.
His father did all that.
Correct. The 44-year-old who was just arrested at Independence
The
Mall.
father's deceased.
Yeah.
He died last year. So they're trying to figure out if what they're finding is actually something that he meant to say, or if it's part of a novel or script for a movie.
So that makes it more convoluted, because they did find some handwritten notes in there describing some disturbing things, but you don't know if it's fiction or
referencing
actual.
Ted Bundy. But they just need to figure out if it's like, if it was intended to be what was in his head, or if it was written for a novel.
Wow. Is this one of the more unusual cases you've covered?
It's mysterious. Yeah, it's very unusual with all these different pieces that the investigators are trying to put together.
So again, this guy Eugene's dad, R.C., was married for a short time to the missing woman?
They were married in 2004. They were married for a short time and then got divorced. According to the family, she struggled with drug addiction and had some mental health issues. So even after they divorced, because when they were married, they lived in Chalfont. After the divorce, the Horshes moved to Chew Avenue. And she would occasionally go back to the Chew Avenue house. And that's where the family, that's where they last heard from her, when she was in the house on June 13th in 2016.
And then you have the other woman who has been reported missing, who's connected, but she was missing from Kensington. Blair?
Yes, Blair Tonzelli. And the way they connected her is when the police stopped the car with Eugene Horsch in it, the woman in the car had a fake ID.
Hers?
With Blair Tonzelli's name on it. And Eugene Horsch had told the woman in the car, like, if you ever get in trouble, you can use this ID.
Because that person's probably no longer with us.
Well, we don't know that. But yeah, she's just, at this point, a missing person. But she's been missing since, for 3 years.
Wow.
And so this all started 2 blocks that way at 6th and Market. At 8 o'clock in the morning is when the Park Service investigated this car sitting there.
Right. And Eugene Horsch and this woman were in the car, and guns that had the serial numbers obliterated were in the car, and also some drugs. And so that gave them reason to then go to the Chew home, especially when they found the name of the woman on her ID being a woman who'd been missing for 3 years.
So, and the fact that it wasn't actually the woman who was in the car. I mean, she just said she had some outstanding warrants, so that's why she was trying to, you know, do what he recommended, was use someone else's ID.
Right.
Well, hopefully we'll get more. I know we're going to get more answers this week.
All right. So, Alex, Mike, trying their best to really take apart what's happening here. They actually did a really great job as well with that investigative reporter from the Philadelphia Inquirer. So once again, just let me go through some of the details as I understand them. This all really started with a park ranger who just so happened to want to look into this couple who had been sitting in a car. From talking to them, looked like maybe they were engaging in some drug use. From there, decided to search the vehicle, ends up finding these firearms, ends up finding more drug paraphernalia, according to officials. And then they find that, well, 2 really fake IDs. The one that belonged, at least the name belonged to a woman who's been reported missing. And then they also found that ID that suggests that the guy worked with the DEA. And they say both of those IDs were not real. From there, they then investigate the home that this guy was living in. And there were neighbors who were afraid that there were bodies inside of the house. From there, they look into it. They don't find bodies, but they do find a crazy amount of blood. And now that blood has to be tested to see if it is related to humans. Is it connected to people? And then from there, it's, where are these women? The 2 women that are missing. Do they really have a much deeper connection to this couple, to this guy? We have more questions than we do answers at this point, but it's, again, one of those head-scratching stories that I have a feeling we are going to stay on. So if you guys are interested in this, want to learn a little bit more, first and foremost, we do have that full interview that Mike and Alex did earlier today up on our website. You can also go to the Free Fox Local app, and then we also have more details about the original reporting that we did on this home in the investigation. So that's just a little, in a nutshell, what we were looking into there. Now let's move on to some other big stories of the day. If You guys have heard about the Route 13 speed cameras. We hear that they are not only in place, but now issuing actual fines. So slow down, you guys. They're located on Frankfurt Avenue. And we heard that drivers who are caught going over 25 miles per hour, this started last Friday. If you are caught going over 25 miles per hour, you can be now issued a fine that you'll have to pay. And a lot of people say that they're concerned about this particular speed limit that's in the area because on this particular stretch of Frankfurt Road, there's a hill. And they say if they don't speed up a little bit, there's a chance that they may not make it up that hill. I want to let you guys listen in. One of our reporters, Greg Payne, he did a report on this, talking to people on the ground, talking to people who have already received fines. I want to let you know how they feel.
It's one of the busiest state routes in Northeast Philadelphia, Route 13. And now the specific stretch along Frankfurt Avenue is forcing drivers to pump the brakes from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour. To help monitor the speed change, new cameras.
Now I got 2 warnings, so I know not to go fast no more. So I'm gonna go slow.
I've received 2 warnings already. Yeah, no tickets yet, but I'm trying to be really, careful at this point.
After 2 months of sending out warnings, the PPA officially flipped the switch on live ticketing.
It's crazy to make essentially another boulevard out of Frankfurt. People aren't going 25. People pull out in front of you because everybody is creeping. You can't get anywhere you need to be.
According to the PPA website, the cameras on Roosevelt Boulevard have proven to be effective. Speeding tickets on the boulevard have gone down 93%. Fatal and serious injury crashes dropped 21%, and pedestrian-involved crashes down 50%.
Honestly, I don't think it's a safety feature. I think it's just more money they're trying to get out of us.
While drivers don't like the speed change, another frustration is the cameras located on the 9900 block of Frankfurt Avenue that sit on a steep hill. One person voicing their frustration on the Concerned Citizens of the 8th District Facebook page, posting in part, "Put a camera on the hill in front of ShopRite where you have to hit the gas to go up the hill. Got 2 warnings doing 36 miles per hour. Same exact spot both times. Should do a survey to see if that spot is a moneymaker due to the incline."
That's why I go fast up there, because you have to go fast.
Drivers begin receiving tickets once they exceed 11 miles per hour or more over the limit, with fines starting at $100 and increasing the faster you go, which drivers tell us they're now taking a different route to avoid that hill.
I go out that way now, so I'll go out that way and not just skip this spot because it is a hill. But I travel this all the time, so I'm gonna go slow.
All right, so that's what's going on at Frankfurt Avenue. Again, they're saying that people are either choosing to go a different route, slow down. Some people say this is just very annoying because, again, in that particular stretch of road, they say there is an incline, a little bit of a hill, and if they don't go a little bit faster, they may have a chance of going backwards. They say if they do go a little faster, they could be hit with a fine. So it's kind of a catch-22, but that's what's going on out there. Now let's move over to New Jersey. I hear that New Jersey Republican Representative Tom Kean Jr. is officially back in Congress. Now this is a really big deal because you guys has been missing out on votes since March. His camp told the media, told his constituents that he was experiencing some sort of medical issue and that it was keeping him away from the public, from continuing his job for months. Now we do know after a certain period of time, he was still responding on social media, letting his voice be heard on different issues, but for the most part, he hadn't physically appeared in Congress for the last couple of months. Well, today, he officially made his return, and you guys, he says the reason he has been out of Congress is because he was diagnosed with depression. Now, before he made that announcement, House Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about his return, and I want to let you listen in to what he had to say.
The obligation of Tom Kean Jr. to his constituents about his health during this prolonged absence. Should he have said something to them?
I understand Tom has given a speech on the floor this hour. I don't know exactly what he said, but I hope that he was fully transparent, as I've encouraged him, many times over the last few months to be.
Should he have been more upfront in that interregnum?
What did he say? Did he tell what his?
He hasn't said anything yet.
Okay, all right. Well then.
But I'm saying he had 4 months to do that.
He did, and I encourage him to be transparent, because what you will find when he does the speech, whenever that happens today, is that there's no conspiracy involved in this at all. There's nothing scandalous at all. He has a health condition, as he said. If it were me, I would have been more specific about that, and I encouraged him to be. He will today, but it will be understandable to you. It's not an uncommon kind of condition and ailment that he's been fighting, and I think people resonate with it. I think he'll get a lot of empathy, because it's something that's very, very common. So I encourage him to come back. I'll say this about my colleague. He is a genuinely good man. He comes from a long line of valiant public service. His family is very well known for their service, and he's a person of integrity. And I think he'll address this with the integrity and the character that he's always shown us as a great team player, a patriot, a faithful public servant. He's missed some votes, but he's still been working as he was able, as he explained. His staff's been working overtime, I know, because they're in constant contact with mine. And I think his constituents have been served throughout this process. We're all human. People get ailments. People have to fight cancer and terminal diseases and all sorts of other maladies. But they're still the duly elected representatives. They do their best in those trying times, and I think the American people understand that. I think Tom gets reelected easily this fall, and he'll be back, and he'll be back in full health, and he'll continue to do what he's been doing his whole career.
All right, so you got to listen in there as the reporters were asking the House Speaker how he feels about the representative here in New Jersey returning back to Congress. And this, keep in mind, was before he actually made his announcement. Now, since talking to the House Speaker, the media has learned that Kaine Jr. was out of Congress for so long because he's been struggling with depression. Now, during a speech in front of the House floor, he got to talk to all of his colleagues and admit it to them, admit it to the press, and hope that his constituents feel for him or identify with him, because this really is something that affects a lot of people. And it's one of those things, you don't ask for it. You just, when it comes, unfortunately, you have to figure out how you're going to live with it. And he says, and I quote, "There is no timeline for healing. There is no timeline for recovery, only the work of getting better one day at a time." He had a full speech on the House floor, and I want to let you listen in from his own words what he went through.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today with deep gratitude for the patience, the kindness, the prayers, and the concern that have been shown to me and my family over the course of the last several months. This is not an easy speech for me to give. I am a private person by nature, and I have spent most of my life talking about the people that I represent, the issues facing our communities, and the work that continues to be done. Talking about myself has never come naturally. But I believe that I owe an explanation to the people of New Jersey's 7th District, to my colleagues in this chamber, and to the American people for my absence. Several months ago, due to health concerns, I entered the hospital for some testing. I did not believe that this would result in a long-term stay. I was given the diagnosis of depression. Now, when people hear the word depression, many people think simply it means feeling sad. But depression is so much more than that. It is physical. It is emotional. And until you experience it yourself, it is difficult to fully understand how powerful this illness can be. The doctors recommended that I remain in the hospital to address my illness. They explained to me that this would be the fastest way to recovery. And to be honest, I was hesitant. I didn't think that I had time for it. I had responsibilities to my family. I had responsibilities to my constituents. I had responsibilities to this institution. And like many people, I believed that I could simply push through. But I agreed to follow my doctor's recommendations, again, not believing that it would result in a long-term stay. I began to understand not only my diagnosis, but how long depression had been affecting my life. When I first informed the public that I was dealing with a medical issue, I was still trying to understand what was happening myself. When I said I hoped to return in a matter of weeks, I believed it. Those were the best estimates the doctors could provide. But as the over 48 million of my fellow Americans being treated for this illness have come to discover, there is no timeline for healing. There is no timeline for recovery. Only the work of getting better, one day at a time. Today, I am grateful that I listened to my doctors, and I'm grateful for the exceptional care that I received from doctors, nurses, and support staff. I am grateful that I accepted help, because today I stand before you healthier, stronger, and excited to return to the work that I love. I've always been a supporter of mental health care. During my time in the New Jersey legislature, I worked to advance mental health parity. I believed in the cause then, and I understand it in a far more personal way now. This experience has given me a deeper appreciation for the millions of Americans who face these challenges each and every day. Many do so quietly. Many do so alone. Many do so while carrying burdens that the rest of us never see. And to them, I would say, asking for help is not a weakness. It is a strength. To my constituents, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your prayers. And thank you for allowing me the honor of serving you. I also want to thank my staff, who worked tirelessly to ensure that our office continued serving constituents every day during my absence. And most importantly, I want to thank my family, whose love, whose support, and whose faith carried me through some very difficult days. This is not a partisan issue. It touches every community, every family, and every corner of this country. If sharing my story encourages even one person to seek help, if it gives one family the courage to have a difficult conversation, or if it reminds one person that recovery is possible, then this moment will have been worthwhile. I am grateful to be back with the full support of my doctors. I'm grateful to be healthy. I am grateful for the opportunity to continue serving the people of New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. Thank you. May God bless the people of New Jersey, and may God bless the United States of America. I yield back.
All right, so those were his remarks. He ended up posting them to his YouTube channel, where we were just taking a look at what he had to say. Now, keep in mind that during his absence from Congress, he was still voted as the, well, it was an uncontested race, but still voted as the Republican nominee for his seat. Now, he's going to have to face Democratic challenger Rebecca Bennett in November, but it does look like there's still a chance where in the next election he could continue serving his people. So that's the latest that happened out there. And I just saw one comment in our TikTok live stream chat I thought was interesting. Someone listening in just said, "I have never had so much faith in a congressman with this speech." So I think one of the things that he wanted to do with talking, being open about what he was experiencing, was hoping to reach other people out there who either have gone through what he's gone through, or maybe just anybody who has empathy, who can understand why somebody may have to take time away. So, you know, time will tell in November if people are still rocking with him or if they want a change. Again, that'll happen in November's election. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Remember that another one of our biggest stories of the day, of the week really, is the heat. Because we are approaching our next heat wave. We're talking about triple-digit weather. We'll check in with our meteorologist on that when we come back. guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Sky Fox is getting some video of that train derailment from earlier. Now, of course, this is nighttime. It is very dark out there, you guys, but they are still trying to get as many pieces of those train cars away from the tracks, repair those tracks, so hopefully they'll be able to continue their rides out there. But you can see as the light flickers that some of those cars are still out there in the area. We'll bring you back live out there in a second, but keep in mind, weather, the heat, that is one of our top stories of the day. We're trying to keep people safe, but also keep people informed, and that's why we're joined by our meteorologist, Kathy Orr. Kathy, what's going on with our forecast?
Oh, a lot. If you step outside, Judea, you can definitely feel the heat. There is not a lot of humidity, so at least that is tolerable. But I want to show you that heat dome that just rests over the Philadelphia area, and it's not just us. A heat dome is an expansive area of heat, and you can see that high pressure system just anchored over the Tennessee Valley. That is really pumping up heat and humidity from the southwest. It does tap into the Gulf of Mexico, but not like that would be if it was off the ocean. So a lot of times in the summer, we have high pressure over Bermuda. We call it a Bermuda high. That's when we get those hot and humid days. So it's going to be extremely hot around here, but you're not going to see that tropical humidity until Friday into Saturday. So here's a look at today's high temperatures. Impressive. This is our second day of 90-degree temperatures across the region, but that is nothing compared to the duration and the intensity of the heat we'll see in the next couple of days. Right now in Philadelphia, it's 82 degrees. It's comfortable out there, really not that bad. 82 in the city, 81 in Exton, 81 in Wilmington, 80 degrees in Doylestown. And as we look at those overnight lows, we're in the 70s. As we go through the day tomorrow, temperatures will rise into the mid to upper 90s. Some areas may touch 100 degrees on Wednesday, but it is more likely on Thursday and for Friday. Thursday, we're forecasting a high of 104. That would beat the old record of 103. And Friday, we're forecasting 105. That would beat the old record of 104. Historic heat this week would mean at least back-to-back 100-degree days, which we will do. Most likely it will be 3 consecutive 100-degree days, which is the most we've ever seen in Philadelphia. You have to go back to 1993 to see that. And there is a chance by Friday we could tie or surpass that all-time temperature record of 106 that goes back to 1918. So clearly a once-in-a-lifetime event here in Philadelphia when you consider all of those records that would be broken. As we look at the heat dangers, you can see heat exhaustion and heat stroke are different things. You may see excessive sweating with heat exhaustion, but no sweating with heat stroke, which is even more dangerous. A weak pulse with heat exhaustion and a rapid, strong pulse with heat stroke. So these are things we're going to have to watch over the next several days as the temperature climbs over 100 for at least 2 days, probably 3 days in the Philadelphia area. Down the shore, you will be able to break the heat and really be much more comfortable Wednesday and Thursday. And by Friday, it'll be around 90 even down the shore. But that's when at home, temperatures are about 105, 106. So Wednesday, near 100. Thursday and Friday in the hundreds. Saturday, showers and storms. We have our last World Cup game at Philadelphia Stadium Saturday at 5 p.m. We could have a delay with lightning because of the storms in the area, but still, celebrating the 4th, the nation's 250, and temperatures will be over 100 degrees. The parade in the city's already been shortened to 1 mile instead of 2 because of the heat. We'll see if things change even further. And of course, 90s for Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday, it's back into the 80s. But if you look at the 10-day trend, the 80s are when it cools off, so to speak, but still, there's nothing cool about upper 80s around here. I mean, typically, if it hit 99, we would talk about dangerous heat. Now we're talking over 100. So this is a whole new standard for this region. This is typically not what we see. We do see several days in the 90s in the month of July, but not 100s, not like this. We probably see a 100-degree temperature every year or every other year, but the consecutive days is definitely extreme in Philadelphia. Judea?
Extreme indeed. We actually have a viewer right now on our TikTok live stream chat. So this is from Louisiana. His name is actually Louisiana Guy on TikTok. I asked him what the weather was like out there just out of curiosity, and he says earlier today it was 96 degrees but with a feel like temperature of 110. And I just think, like, given that we're approaching temperatures like that and we're all the way up here up north, they're experiencing that down south, like that is just wild to think about.
Yes, everybody's under this heat dome. I mean, it goes as far north as Detroit in the Great Lakes. It goes as far northeast as the southern part of New England, but also southern Maine is in this. And we are definitely in that area of extreme heat and record highs. So we're going to be at about 104, 106 for high temperatures later in the week. And the feel like reading will be 110. So that's not extreme humidity. We're really more about these temperatures at this point being extreme than the humidity, and that may help us out.
Let me ask you this. If I had to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the late night 4th of July festivities can still go on despite us having the chance for thunderstorms, lightning, all that?
Well, depending on what time the fireworks are, typically 9, 10 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock, I would think that they would have a good chance of going, especially if these storms come in the afternoon.
Okay.
You know, usually that 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. time frame are the most volatile, and it could be earlier than that. We're just going to have to wait till we get closer.
Okay. I will be here this weekend to bring you guys the latest of what's happening. My time slot is between 6 to 9, so I will see that time period that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, Kathy, thank you for joining us then. We'll see you a little later on, but I'm happy that you were able to give us a look at our forecast and also interact with our live stream viewers. We love you guys, and we love when you guys interact with us in real time. Again, Kathy, thank you. While we're talking about heat, Chris O'Connell, one of our reporters, hit the streets. He was asking everybody, especially our visitors, keep in mind, like we're in the middle of FIFA World Cup. A lot of people are excited for tomorrow's match. So he asked our visitors how they're feeling about the heat. How are they beating it? Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Rebecca Humphreys couldn't think of a better way to celebrate her 40th birthday than a trip to Philly for our nation's 250th birthday.
Definitely all the big historical tourist sites. I'm looking forward to like Penn's Landing in the Old City.
But if there's one thing this Michigan girl never counted on, triple digits in the weather forecast.
We definitely have our water supply ready to go. We have some of those neck fans, and when in doubt, you duck in where there's air conditioning.
The Humphreys are just the kind of visitors the city is trying to warn, with nearly record-breaking temperatures expected. Today, leaders with key city departments were getting a first-hand briefing on this week's Party on the Parkway. One of the topics, the dangerous heat.
The National Weather Service has told us this is the worst heat wave we've seen in at least a decade. So this is not your garden variety heat wave.
The city's health department is already preparing for massive crowds and oppressive heat. The focus is on the Parkway and Lemon Hill, where hospitality tents with air conditioning will be in operation, along with misting and hydration stations. The heat has already changed plans.
Every day that we're meeting, we're going through and deciding what it is that changes we might need to make. As folks know, we've already shortened the parade that's going to happen on the 3rd, and we've already shortened the hours at FIFA Fan Fest. We'd love for these events to go off as much as possible, but we also have to be safe.
Over in Old City, many out-of-town visitors lined up for the historic attractions like the Liberty Bell and Independence Mall. Little did they know, they all may be making history with a record-breaking heat wave.
Where we want to get out today before tomorrow to make sure we beat the heat.
I guess we'll quickly go outside and do things, and then back to air conditioning and lots of water.
So he's saying lots of water. I've got mine on deck. You guys should definitely keep yours on deck as well. It's only going to get hotter. We want you guys to be safe. So keep in mind, again, triple-digit weather is heading our way. Now, a lot of things that you can get into around town. I want to give you a live look right now, though. We've got something really exciting happening. It's a beautiful look at the moon. I don't even know how our director, Carly, was able to get this for us, but it's gorgeous. It looks like, okay, Skyfox, our chopper, is flying. They've gotten this camera up on their helicopter, so of course they're a little closer. Yesterday, we were in the middle of Strawberry Moon, which I'm hearing from our meteorologists. It's kind of like talking about the harvest and all that stuff. Like, it's just really cool how the celestial happenings, how we're able to see stuff like this. It's at a point in time where the sun, I believe, is at its highest point in the sky, which means the moon is at its lowest. And so again, that's how we had something like this yesterday, but it looks like we're still getting residuals of just the moon being cool. Also, at the same time, we've got fireworks, you guys. I heard this was going to happen after the Phillies game, which, by the way, they blew the Pittsburgh Pirates out of the water. We're talking 8-0. If you happen to be at Citizens Bank Park, obviously that is the place to be. You've got this gorgeous fireworks show, which is just a taste of what you guys are going to get if you join me live on Philadelphia Live, Fox Local this weekend. 4th of July is going to be huge, of course, here in the city of Philadelphia. We are celebrating America's 250th birthday right where it all began. And so we're going to have interviews for you guys. We'll be talking to the people out on the streets. We'll definitely have our fireworks for you just like this. And honestly, I'm going to be quiet. I just want to enjoy the show. This is just so beautiful. You guys, my favorite part of 4th of July is obviously the fireworks. I love when they do like their grand finale. It's the sound for me. It's just everybody being out and about. Usually they're playing great music. I love when they play Party in the USA. But just to see stuff like this in my new home, city of brotherly love, city of Philadelphia, it's making me feel just very warm about being here, and nostalgic too. You know, history class, we learn how America got started, we learn about the Pilgrims coming over, we learn about the Declaration of Independence, and when I walk down the streets here in Philadelphia, it's like everything that I read about in my history books, everything that I was tested on in 6th grade and whatnot, is my real life now. It's my everyday. And it's just so cool to think about this. But again, the Phillies were facing Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. It's a home game. This is part of their series. This is game 2, and it was not even close. Phillies came out on top with 8 points. Pittsburgh Pirates put up 0. I wonder what that post-game press conference with Don Mattingly is going to be like. I'm sure he's excited, but you know, he always plays it cool. He's always real chill about everything, keeps his head on straight, wants the players to make sure that they're staying locked in and focused. Don't get a big head about your wins, because there's another game and another game and another game. You have to stay just as good as you started the season out. But again, such a beautiful display. We've got people in our live stream chats. Thank you guys for joining us. Naps Are Gold says, God bless America, with the American flags. We've got a couple of amens in our live stream chat as well. Let me know where you guys are watching from, where you're streaming from. I'd love to give you all a shout out, as I'm able to do from time to time. But again, let's just enjoy the show. It's beautiful. All right, so we're starting to get people telling us where they're watching from. We've got Jorge Ivan watching from San Diego. Welcome on in to Philadelphia Live. Isn't it so cool how we can connect? It doesn't matter where in the country, or even sometimes we get international viewers as well. Where in the world you are, somehow, some way, we're coming together. Me live from Philadelphia, you sitting and watching from wherever. Oh my goodness, with the flyover too. Could you imagine being in one of those aircrafts and seeing this show from, I guess, right up center, front and center? Again, this all taking place over Citizens Bank Park. You can also see taking place over the Philadelphia Stadium as you guys are taking a look out there. Again, the Phillies just finished their game with the Pittsburgh Pirates, winning 8-0. And if you're in the stands, this is incredible. Heck, if you're out there on the highway, this is incredible. So I saw from one of our employees here, one of my colleagues, Jennifer, she says that they'll be doing these fireworks at the games, obviously tonight, but also tomorrow. She says they always do a great job. 2 years ago, there was a drone show that she says was just simply incredible. You had to be there for it. She's thinking that they'll probably pull out all the stops. I mean, it is America's 250th birthday. Why not? All right, you guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I have a feeling we'll probably be catching up with the finale, maybe. You guys don't go anywhere. We've got more fireworks coming for you right after this. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Guys, great news. The fireworks have continued, and I just want to give a shout out too as we're watching them. We've got Jorge Ivan again watching from San Diego. We've got WAP1313 Yahoo.com watching from the Poconos. Justin Wayne 73 watching from Manchester in the UK, and Nelson watching from Tanzania. I know more of you guys are out there. If you want me to give you a shout out, just let me know where you guys are watching from. In the meantime, while this beautiful fireworks display is going on, and it looks like they've also maybe starting up a drone show, or I'm not quite sure what they've got. They're pulling out all the stops here in Philadelphia. We also know they have announced the NASA astronauts who will be taking on Artemis 3, that next mission. Hopefully it'll bring us closer to putting people permanently on the moon. So this crew consists of Commander Randy Bresnik from NASA, pilot Luca Parmitano from the European Space Agency. We've also got mission specialist Frank Rubio from NASA, and again, another mission specialist, Andre Douglas, also from NASA. Now, what I find interesting, in this particular crew, we don't have any women. You know, justice for our women astronauts. But of course, with Artemis 2, we did. And so we're going to see another crazy mission where they'll be sending out people into outer space. NASA also had a press conference earlier today. They talked a little bit more about what this new mission looks like, why they want to head to the moon again.
Phase one is really three main objectives. One, getting to the moon reliably. That's why we have so many missions, because we want to try with different vendors, different places of the moon, and make sure that most of the missions, all of the missions, have a very high likelihood of success. The second objective is to get ground truth. We know a lot about the moon, some of the South Pole, but nothing like what we need to learn before we send humans there and we actually build a moon base. So putting different assets on the surface, prospecting, understanding the environment, where the places where we want to go, super critical. And the third objective is we know to build a moon base, we're going to need permanent infrastructure, and we're going to need to support long duration, eventually permanent presence there. So we got to try out some of these technologies early in phase one that will enable us to do that. We want to try things out there, learn from what we observe in the operations, and then modify and upgrade the things that actually will be part of phase two, which starts around 2029. And that's when we'll start putting some of the permanent pieces of the infrastructure, including power, navigation capabilities, of course, finishing out the communication constellations, and also surface preparation. All of that in phase two. And then that will go through 32, and in 32 plus, we'll add the final elements of the moon base initial capability, which will enable long-term duration missions, including habitation, the logistics, and we'll see some cargo return to Earth.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, other than just, I guess reinforcing the importance of going through these phases. This is drawing on the playbook that worked very well for NASA during the 1960s. We didn't just jump right to Apollo 11, Mercury, Gemini, lots of Apollo missions. We want to get back into a rhythm of this. We want lots of reps. It's incredibly challenging just going to the moon, let alone going to the south pole of the moon and being able to operate in permanently shaded regions. Like, this is extremely difficult. So let's do a lot of littles, and let's learn from every one of them. And I'll tell you, as you tune in and you start watching these the uncrewed landings, starting in 2027, every single time, not only is that a useful mission for the long-term goals of building out a moon base itself, it's bringing down risk for when the astronauts arrive. Every landing we're going to have an opportunity to learn from. So I think it's exciting. I think it gives people a lot of opportunity to tune in, see the progress that we are making. There will be scientific breakthroughs from every one of them. There will be tech demonstrations, but we're learning and building up to doing something extremely hard. Which is being able to operate astronaut crews on a near continuous basis on the lunar surface. And this is drawing on the playbook of success from the 1960s. We're bringing it back. This is how you do the near impossible. Just eager to see the first mission get underway.
So now that we've recapped all of that, let's shift to our 4 new vendor contracts being awarded to industry providers today. Jared, do you want to go ahead and share who's going to be delivering NASA science payloads and tech demos?
Sure. So I will give you the 4. So we've got 4 landers, 3 vendors. So the first one, 2 awards are going to Astrobotic. The second, we have an award going to Firefly Aerospace, which is their Blue Ghost lander. And then third, we have Intuitive Machines, which is based on their Nova C lander. And I will turn it over to our Moonbase guy to give you the specifics.
All right, so congratulations to Astrobotic, Firefly, Intuitive Machines. It's been awesome to see them grow, just like other parts of the industry that we're going to need for the Moonbase. With Astrobotic, like the administrator said, it's another version of their Peregrine lander. They're getting 2 awards, and we have been ensuring that they have the production capacity for that at the same time as they're building out, finishing their Griffith 1 lander. So they're applying a lot of the lessons learned from the previous Peregrine build-out, and we expect to see a spacecraft that has those additional capabilities. Then Firefly, of course, we were all captivated by the footage of the Blue Ghost approaching the moon and landing to the moon. That was an epic mission. We got a ton of data from that, so we are thrilled to see them develop another instance of that Blue Ghost lander and see it carry some of our payloads to the moon. And then, of course, intuitive machines. I have seen already one version of the Nova C. Very excited to get another one. Again, we will apply all the lessons learned. As a matter of fact, they're doing quite a bit of work in the instruments for descent and guidance and navigation. They're going to apply all of the stuff they learn from the testing they do on Earth, as well as the next mission into this instance, and very excited that we're going to get a bunch of new payload capacity to the surface.
Speaking of payload capacity, what do you think the chances are here, if America wins it all, that we can find some volume here on one of these landers to put one of the soccer balls in?
If the United States wins the World Cup, we will absolutely find space.
You're going to find a way.
Of course, they will have to beat Spain in the quarterfinals, which is predictable, but we will see what happens. But absolutely, we will absolutely.
Right, so a little bit of motivation for the United States here on this one. We're going to one-up Alan Shepard in the golf game on the lunar surface, and we are going to get the soccer ball there. Well, I don't know which lander it'll wind up going, and I'll leave that to you guys to handle the payload integration.
We will take on that challenge. It will be super exciting to do that if they win. Good luck.
Carlos, you've been deeply involved in shaping the near-term roadmap for our moon-based construction zone. What's on the horizon for the moon-based program?
So, great question. So, besides getting new awards for the landers, we're working across NASA. This is a one NASA effort. We're working with our science partners on making sure that we understand what the objectives for science are, picking some of the instruments and developing those with them, and also working with the research and technology team. They just announced in a press release yesterday, they're putting a broad area announcement for some of the early technology that we know we have gaps on. And it's there for folks to apply and put their ideas in SAM.gov right now. Those, again, will be early technology development projects that all feed into potential flight projects for things that we do in phase 1 and phase 2 in the future. So that's number one. We're then, of course, going into some of the moon-based core activities. We announced CLIPS 2.0. That's another version of landers and also other options that we have to be able to procure not just as commercial service, but only specifically landers. We want to get into the business where we have launch vehicles, different kinds of landers, and we're developing payloads for them. And, we will be assembling these missions depending on what's ready.
All right, so that's the latest from NASA. As I mentioned, we've got those 4 new astronauts who will be making this Artemis 3 mission as they're talking about why we want to go back to the moon and what the new mission will be all about. In the meantime, you guys, thank you for joining me here on Philadelphia Live. We've talked to you guys about sports. That's really how we started the show, and I want to give you a quick look back at those scores. So Philadelphia Phillies, we came out on top, 8-zip win. We had that exciting fireworks show after the Pirates versus Phillies game, and it was a big one here in Philadelphia. Also, we were keeping our eyes on the FIFA World Cup, France versus Sweden. France came out on top, 3-zip. And keep in mind, this was huge because Mbappe actually set a world record. We're talking about a World Cup knockout record as they beat them. So, of course, fans in the stands were going absolutely crazy. Now, we were supposed to have another match, Mexico versus Ecuador, that was supposed to begin about an hour ago, but they are just now getting started because of thunderstorms and lightning in the area. So Mexico will be facing Ecuador now. They've just gotten started with their national anthems. If you guys are interested in watching that game, you can watch it on Fox Sports, or a couple of other places where you can stream. Meanwhile, those of you who are interested in your news of the day, we got that for you right here on the Fox Local app. I don't want you to go anywhere because our 10 o'clock news is streaming. Once again, you'll be able to watch it on the free Fox Local app. I'm Judea Murray. You've been with me on Philadelphia Live. I appreciate you for going over the breaking news, the live news of the day, and some of our biggest stories all across the nation. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7 to 10 p.m. Be there or be square. Don't go anywhere. The news at 10 begins after this.